from Buddy Marcello Stadium in Houma, Louisiana. Crescent City Sports Prep Football is once again on the airs. Tonight we've got a non-district matchup between the Terriers of Vandebilt Catholic and the Lions from Covington. Hi again, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder, Wade Kaiser with you. Chip Merritt, our producer this evening. Matt Merritt bringing you all of the pictures of a matchup that we were totally unprepared to see tonight, Wade.
Right.
More importantly, these two teams were totally unprepared to play it, but this came together at about 1:30 Thursday afternoon. Covington on Wednesday, late afternoon, lost their matchup, was scheduled to be against North Shore. Earlier Thursday, Vandebilt lost its matchup, which was our original plan to broadcast tonight, basically for the district championship in 8-4A against Assumption.
Right.
And this came together very quickly as two schools who were still available lost their opponents because of COVID-19, got this thing together on 30 hours notice, not a lot of time to prepare in terms of figuring out what the other team's going to do. So I think this is going to be a night where we're really going to see teams do what they do best and not so much trying to do something against the other team's weakness.
Right. It's like when we were talking to Greg Salter prior to us coming on the air here. I said, Greg, I bet if you took a vote of all your kids, they would have all raised their hand and said they wanted to play tonight. That's the bottom line. To the kids, it doesn't matter. They're playing football. That's what it's all about, and thank goodness these two teams could get together to give these kids the opportunity to play. But, you know, there is some stuff on the line here, especially for Covington.
Both
Teams.
Teams. Covington,
you know, right.
Yeah, you look at the Class 5A power points going into the week, and, of course, it's unofficial, but you basically had a four-way deadlock from 31 to 34, and the top 32 make the bracket.
Correct.
So this is a great opportunity for Covington to play a 5-win Vanderbilt team here on the road. And for Vanderbilt, they are sitting at number 7 in the Division II bracket right now in terms of power points. Top 8 get to host a first-round game. And, so they want to maintain that spot in the top 8. Well, Covington comes in at only 2 and 4. They get the points for playing up to play a 5A team. So both teams really have something to gain here tonight. This may be a non-district game and not the matchup they were expecting to play, but this still really means a lot to both teams.
Right. Late in the season, as we're winding down in the next couple of weeks, playoffs will start. Everybody's jockeying for the position to be able to get either a home playoff game, or just in Covington's case to make sure that they've got enough power points to get onto that bracket. So it's a big game for both teams. It's going to be interesting how it plays out, that both teams haven't had a whole week to prepare like most contests are. But, that's what makes this game a little bit of fun from the coaching aspect.
Sure. Both teams taking the field just about simultaneously there. You hear the home fans cheering the Terriers as they came out of their inflatable Terrier tunnel there, the end zone to our left. This is a terrific facility. And Wade, I know you're very familiar with this place. This was your first coaching job back in 1984. And
1982.
1882, I'm sorry.
But you made me younger. Made me feel younger.
I was trying there, okay?
There you go.
But at the same time, the one thing that jumps out to me is you look at this grass surface out here. We see turf just about everywhere we go these days now.
Right.
But this grass surface is well manicured, well kept, and the colleges would be proud to play on this.
No doubt. That's Lance Leday, the athletic director, head football coach here at Vandebilt Catholic High School, who also handles taking care of his field. Now, having done that before and understanding exactly what goes on with it, having been an AD, head football coach, and a field maintenance guy, look, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and Lance Leday, credit him, because his field is immaculate.
At this time, we ask that you please rise, stand quietly, and calmly remove your hats for tonight's invocation.
So we're going to have the invocation followed by the national anthem. I guess that's going to halt our coin toss that was about to happen at the 50-yard line.
Of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we enter the stadium in thanksgiving for the opportunity to compete tonight. May we never take this blessing for granted. Through victories and adversities, our players have been given opportunities to grow as men and to learn more the value of team. We are thankful for the perseverance that they have shown and the resolve that has carried them through this season. We are thankful for our coaches who have guided their players through all of this season's uncertainties while never missing an opportunity to mold their players in the game, but more importantly in life. We thank you for their parents who have encouraged them and supported them through this season. May they relish this opportunity to watch their boys enjoy the game. Bless all tonight as we enjoy the camaraderie and competition of this game. Keep our players safe and help them to play to the best of their abilities. May we always do everything for your glory and honor, and never lose an opportunity to praise you, for you are Lord forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Now from Homa, our national anthem. Vandebilt Catholic Band with our national anthem from Buddy Marcello Stadium in Homa. Yeah, you lost two teams to COVID-19 this week, just involving this matchup. CitySports.com, also on Cox Sports Television, which may end up being a matchup for the Catholic League title. Brother Martin and John Curtis from Strawberry Stadium in Hammond. You'll join Ken Berthelot for the call, as I'll slide down to the production truck for that one. Chip will join me down there. And so Vandebilt is going to get, or check that, Covington is going to get the football to start this game.
Vandebilt won the toss, deferred. It's their option until the second half.
Vanderbilt's done a nice job on defense this year, allowing just a little under 17 points a game. You know, you look at Covington, we were talking to Greg Salter, he's had some chances, he's close games. Both of these teams, by the way, they've got one common opponent. They played Dutchtown. Covington played them week 1, lost 35-21. Vandebilt played them week 2, lost 31-20. So very similar scores against their one common opponent. And off we go from Homa. This will be taken in at about the 5-yard line, returned up the middle with room to run and breaking it outside. 40, 45, across midfield and into Vandebilt Catholic territory. That is Quintez Laurent, who had run just one kickoff back this year for 20 yards, but he pops that one for about 53 to get it out to the Vandebilt 42-yard line, and that's where Covington is going to get started offensively.
Credit the Vandebilt kicker for slowing down Laurent right there. Purvis does a nice job just doing what a kicker's supposed to do. You're the last line of defense. Let's slow him down and wait for the cavalry come. And the cavalry did come, and that's what kept Laurent from going yard to the end zone and going up 7 points.
So Covington begins its first drive of the night in plus territory. Laurent, who's the starting running back, will now come in motion. They fake the jet sweep. Blake Sharp's going to take a shot down the middle, in and out of the hands of Justin Chapman, the freshman wide receiver. He's got 14 catches on the year. They try to find a way to get it in this young freshman's hands, and they tried to do it on the first play there, but off his fingertips, incomplete. It's 2nd and 10.
Sharp laid the ball out nice. He had a lot of air under it and laid it out to give Chapman the nice chance to run underneath it, and it was just slightly off the end of the tips of his hands. I like the idea of trying to take that one shot right down the field immediately and try to jump up on your opponent. I like the call.
Now they'll work out of the pistol. Give it away on 2nd and 10 to Laurent. Trying to get the left edge out near the first down marker. He's going to be just short after about a gain of 9.
Running that outside zone we've seen so much of this year. It seems to be everybody's running game, inside-outside zone. You can see the stretch right there. He bounces it to the outside. He's going to run until he runs into the back of one of his blockers. Then he's going to climb that mountain. Stretch the zone until you run into the mountain, and then climb that mountain is the way you run the play. And he did a very nice job that time, Quintez Laurent, who comes in with 109 attempts, carries, 493 yards to date.
They'll put him over 500 on the year. It's 3rd and 2. And this is Laurent for the first down and then some. Out across the 20 and down to about the 17-yard line. Quintez Laurent, the junior, 5'8", 150 pounds, is showing us something early. Gain of 17.
Controlling the front right there. Watch the offensive line. The guys in the jerseys right there, white jerseys right there, running the counter scheme. They get the kick out on the defensive end. They get the backside guard wrapped up on the linebacker. Huge hole for Laurent to bounce outside and make a lot of running room.
So quickly in the red zone. The Lions give it away once again to Laurent. Cuts it back up inside and will be brought down after about a gain of 3.
It's brought down by Alex Villavaso right there, the leading tackler of the Terriers coming in, linebacker, who does a nice job right there chasing from backside to pull down Laurent. Villavaso is the son of Brad Villavaso, former head football coach here at Vandebilt Catholic and former Nicholls State football player.
One of 2 Villavasos in the lineup.
Right. And I talked to Brad prior to the game tonight, and he is just so tickled pink to have the opportunity to coach on the defensive side of the ball as an assistant and coaches 2 boys.
Fake the run, throw it out near side, intended for Dickenji James, the leading receiver on this Covington team, and it falls incomplete, and it'll be 3rd down and 7.
You're going to see a little RPO action there off the inside zone. The offensive line's blocking inside zone. They had the one-on-one down here at the bottom of the screen to Dickenji James. Ball's just a little bit overthrown. Going to see a lot of RPO tonight. You'll see RPO at a Covington. We'll see RPO at a Vandebilt Catholic. You know, it seems to be the running thing now with high schoolers. It all filters down from college and the NFL game.
3rd and 7 for Covington here on this opening drive. Caught for the first down. 1st and goal, and that is James on the catch. It's going to be a gain of 10.
They throw the same quick out again that they ran in the previous RPO, and they get James open on the boundary right there for the pickup.
Yeah, James with now 34 catches on the year for 681 yards, right at 20 yards a pop, 5 touchdowns. And this one gives Covington a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
Ball was put right on the money. Really nice throw right there by the quarterback Sharp. That's a hard throw from the other side of the field. It shows the strength of his arm.
Yeah, so Blake Sharp, right at about a 50% passer on the year, came in at 1,223 yards passing and whistles before this one can get underway. And I think there was motion before the snap on the Covington side. Let's wait for the signal. It's a false start against the Lions, and now it'll be 1st and goal at the 9.
You know, those are killers down inside the red zone. We talk about all the time how, you know, you get down inside that red zone, it's about playing error-free, and, you know, that could be the difference. A few calls down inside that 20-yard line could be the difference in winning or losing a football game.
And you got 1st and goal at the 4. Now you've got 1st and goal at the 9. You know, one of the things Greg Salter mentioned to us is, you know, in 3 of those 4 losses, they had chances to win down deep late as they try to run Laurent up the middle right there and might have gotten a yard. Certainly got back to the line of scrimmage. We'll wait for the spot. They're going to put it down at the 8. It's a gain of 1. 2nd and goal.
They run the counter again with Laurent. Laurent misses his hole, but sitting right in the hole, too, to make that tackle again was Alex Villavaso, the fine linebacker for Vandebilt Catholic.
Villavaso came in with 47 tackles on the year.
Seems to have a
sorry,
note,
that's Alex. Andrew with 85 tackles on the year. Far and away the team leader here. That's in 6 games. Pass into the end zone is incomplete. Was intended for the tight end, DeQuaris Peterson, who was lined up wide. And it'll be 3rd and goal.
It's lucky that one picked off. Stephen Capel had a nice break on the ball on the slant route right there. He steps underneath that, he picks it, and he goes yard from his own end zone. We have a couple of brothers on the defenses tonight. We've got a couple Capels, and we've got a couple of Villavasos. So we've got to, again, make sure our numbers are right and all of that. And 45, I think I called him as a linebacker. That's Alex. He's the nose tackle. Defensive lineman.
Timeout will be called by Covington here with 8:10 remaining in the first quarter. It gives us a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Louisiana Dental Center, your dental home team with 19 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. We'll see you today. Go to ladentalcenter.com to find out more. So 3rd and goal at the 8. We saw Covington a moment ago convert on 3rd and 7. To get it to 1st and goal.
Right.
We'll see what Greg Salter dials up here. But we're starting to. They have been in some close games, and these are not wild, high-scoring games. I mean, they're a team that can get their points. They have scored. They scored 20 or more in each of their first 5 games. They lost last week 20-14 against Slidell.
I mean, they went 3 overtimes with a really good Warren Easton team that we saw a few weeks back.
Yeah, that was the week after Easton lost in double overtime to East Ascension, a game that we had. The next week, Easton, that was another pickup game, by the way, that came together on short notice, and it went triple overtime. And this one's going to get killed before it can get underway, and that looked like Christian Lecomte, the linebacker.
Blitz looked like they had jumped into a man coverage. They were going to try to bring a few guys to put some pressure on the ball, and I think Christian Lecomte right there just got a little too antsy, and he's getting talked to now on the boundary, making sure you hold your water and not hurt your defense and put your team in a tough situation.
So 3rd and goal at the 8 becomes 3rd and goal at the 4.
There's a big difference in your play call now. I'm just telling you.
Everything's back in play now, and they'll work with 2 in the backfield. Throw it out in the flat, and that was Justin Chapman on the catch, and he's not going anywhere, as that was well defended that time. A host of royal blue shirts out there on the perimeter to keep Chapman out of the end zone. In fact, it's going to be a loss of about 1.5 yards on the play.
Sean Vandebilt had a nice angle on the flare pass right there. Should have brought him down, just got out of his arms, but that allowed everybody to get to the ball, have the cavalry run to the ball, and make the tackle. Like you said, a host of blue jerseys over on the boundary.
Roger Ponce, the senior kicker, comes on to try a 22-yard field goal. On the way, and good. So with 7 minutes and 56 seconds to play here in the first quarter, your score is Covington 3 and Vandebilt Catholic nothing. That was a 10-play, 37-yard drive, the first 4:04 of this game. And Covington comes away with points.
Well, but that's a win for a Vandebilt defense right there now. Okay, you give up the kickoff return, you look bad, you almost give up the deep pass on first down. They run the ball down your throat. You're getting knocked off the ball right there. You really don't have an answer. You find an answer. They help you out a little bit with a couple of penalties, right? You hold them to 3. that's a win for you on the boundary
Sure,
when you come off.
When you get goal to go,
right,
you can keep a team out of the end zone.
Correct.
That
is
is
a win. That is a win. So now they've got to shore up that kickoff coverage, and they've got to see what they have to do to make sure they don't get knocked off the ball on the stretch play and the counter play. So we'll see what answers Vandebilt has offensively for the Covington Lions in their first offensive series of the night.
Kickoff on its way. A little squib job will be picked up at about the 10-yard line, and I believe we stepped out of bounds. Landon Rogers stepped out right as he caught the ball, so now Vandebilt is going to start there. And that's one of those plays, of course, you're following the ball in that situation, but just had his right foot on the boundary, so the idea of the squib kick works, and it pins Vandebilt back at the 10-yard line to start this opening drive. We'll get our first look at the Terriers on offense, led by Dominic Archilla, the 5'10", 161-pound junior. He's completed 57% of his passes this year, 681 yards, 6 touchdowns. Also has 3 rushing touchdowns on the year. He'll keep it on first down after the high snap. Gets about 4 on the play.
Zone read. You'll see a lot of that, too, tonight. You'll see zone read out of the Terriers. You'll see RPOs out of the Terriers. That's their game. They'll try to pick up tempo. They'll call everything from the boundary without a huddle. Out of Covington, you're going to see a solid 3-4 defense, usually with a 2-high secondary, and that's what they've started off in. A little bit vanilla and bland simply because they didn't have a lot of time to game plan.
Second and 6. That's Bryden Roundtree. We will call his name a bunch tonight, Wade. The senior running back. Might have gotten about 1 there, but Roundtree's a guy, 109 rushes on the year. That was rush number 110. 797 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's broken the 100-yard mark 4 different times this year. In the last 2 weeks against Ellender and South Terrebonne, 360 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Well, he's their workhorse in the running game, no doubt.
On 3rd and 5, Archilla down the middle, incomplete. That was intended for Hunter Porsche, the senior, 6'4", 210, and his favorite target. 23 catches on the year, and a guy who's getting some looks to play at the next level. Louisiana Tech among his offers.
He's wide open underneath the zone right there, right behind the linebackers. The ball's just off target. If that ball's on target, it'd be first down Terriers. Great route, dig route or in route at about 14 yards. Had the sticks, ball was just off target.
Punted away on 4th down. And a good Vandebilt roll to kind of flip the field here, and the Terriers needed this.
All the way down to the 39-yard line.
Good roll out to about the 38. This will be 47 yards on the punt by Dakota Purvis. And so that's where Covington will begin their second series. With 6:29 remaining here in the first quarter.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if they come back out and try to reestablish their running game. It seems like on the last series down there, especially after they got their procedure penalty, they kind of might have abandoned it a little bit and had got stuff short on one counter down inside the 5. See if they come back to this stuff.
So from the 38, give it away to Laurent, who will get out near the sticks, give him about 9 to the 47, and it's going to be 2nd and 1.
Well, Laurent
might have an injured Vandebilt player here.
Over on the edge, can't get the number. But Laurent gets the ball, gets out on the edge. That would have been a pass. It's a jet sweep, but instead of handing the ball off, they're going to toss the ball, so that would be considered a forward pass right there if you're into statistics and those sort of things, right? So Laurent does what? He gets out in front with 2 blockers in front of him, and that's just nothing but just a toss sweep out of a different type of look, trying to get the ball out on the flank real fast. Great pickup. Now you're looking at second and short. So here we go. You're dialing up on something second and short. Anything from throwing it deep to running some sort of trick play. You got everything at your disposal. And on every offensive coordinator's card, they've got that little green area called the dial-up area, all right, or the second and short area, or the take a shot area. Whatever an offensive coordinator calls it, it's got about 3 or 4 plays right there that are down in green. And this is where the offensive staff from Covington right now are looking and thinking about whether or not they're going to dial one up.
Like Hayden Klingman, the junior defensive lineman, may have been the injured player. This is second and very short, maybe a foot. So yeah, you got everything at your disposal here. As Covington set to go, we're going to wait a second here while Klingman is helped off the field.
These are the fun downs, especially from us sitting up here, right?
Oh, and you play caller.
Right. Yeah, and I've definitely been on that side of the ball, and you know, the question is always being in a defense to be able to combat this type of call. What are you going to be in? The strategy of the game.
There's your shot. We'll pump and go, and that is incomplete. Nearly brought in by James. He tried to high point it there, but give Sharp credit. I love that. I love that shoulder fake to try to sell it.
Right.
But a nice job by the quarterback. Nice job by the cornerback, and really a good job by the receiver trying to make the play because he was well covered.
Great job by Landon Rogers. Does a nice job. Doesn't bite on the double move now. That's a double move down here off an RPO. That's the shot we were just talking about. Great ball, great route, great job by the defensive back, Landon Rogers.
3rd and 1, they'll give it away. And that's Laurent for the first down. And then some, out to the 42. Check that. That might have been. That was Laurent 6 on the carry. So 1st and 10, the ball now at the 42-yard line.
Laurent sets that up in the backfield. Everything's shut down at the point of attack. He kind of gives a little jump step behind the line of scrimmage and comes out the back door of that to pick up that that nice gain for the Lions.
Once again, it's Laurent off the left side. He stepped out of bounds, I believe, before he got to the sticks. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Looks like they're going to put it down at the 35-yard line, 36-yard line, way back there. Gain of 6.
You take a look at the replay there. You can see Laurent running the outside zone stretch, but what you needed to see was number 10, Daquez Peterson, the fine tight end, 6'4", 220-pound maul. The defensive lineman from Vandebilt knocks him about 15 yards off the ball to make that stretch play go.
You know, it seems like everybody now, we'll get to it after this play, and once again, it is Laurent on the carry, and he's just going to be shy of the first down. It seems like everybody's got that one flex guy who can line up at tight end, who can split out and play wide receiver, and that's what Peterson is there. But a lot of times they're really just big receivers. He showed us some blocking ability right there.
Well, it all goes into what do you have walking around campus and what can you get out for football, and then you're going to set your offensive scheme around those sort of things, and you got to use your personnel in the best way possible. I mean, we're seeing that with the Saints. We're seeing that with these NFL teams that are taking these tight ends and lining them up at a wide receiver and throwing them fade routes, but they're also putting their hand in the dirt and they're blocking off the edge. It's using your personnel in the best way possible.
First down run right there. I believe that was Chapman on the carry, 5, not 6. Chapman, you see him at receiver a lot, but he will also line up in the backfield, and that's going to be enough. The yard is going to be enough to move the sticks. So
Chapman on the run.
Just picked up the first down, got knocked out of bounds just after the sticks over there. Good hard run by Chapman. But getting back again to using tight ends in various situations, and now you've got to defend those big bodies that can run, because athletes now that size, those cats can run vertically.
Laurent on first down makes a couple of men miss the point of attack and gets it out across the 25 out to the 21-yard line. First down. As Laurent already 8 carries, 60 yards, and a 9-yard catch, and a 52-yard kickoff return. So in 2 series and about 7.5 minutes of football, he's accounted for 121 yards.
Well, that also has to do something with those big guys up front. Those guys right now are absolutely mauling everything in blue at the line of scrimmage.
You got some size up there, no question about that. That's Laurent once again, and he didn't get much right there, maybe one.
That was Sean Diebold got off the block that time and stepped into the hole to make a nice play. Linebacker, 6 foot, 213-pound senior. Number 1 does a nice job bringing down Laurent right there for hardly any gain. That offensive line from Covington is doing a fine job. You've got some big guys up there.
They line up
right.
280, 270, 265, 250, 290 across the front. So some nice size up there. They can get after it. That was Chapman on the carry out to about the 16-yard line.
You know, when I always said, Lenny, when you have offensive linemen that big, it isn't all about being physical a lot of times. It's just that they absorb you. You know, if you're not big enough to match man-on-man with size, then you're just going to get sucked up and absorbed, and it allows running backs to be able to pick creases and holes and cut out backsides and things of that nature. So now what you have to do on the defensive line is you got to start moving. You got to become a target that you just can't get sucked up or hit.
Play action. That's a lateral, and it's going to go to Chapman, who's going to get the edge and out past the 10-yard line to about the 7, make it the 8-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and goal.
Well, you got to see Chapman's speed right there. All right, he had the angle and he had the leverage on LeCompte that time, who was the outside linebacker, and you saw him just run right around him to be able to reestablish offensive leverage right there. LeCompte needed to be able to be a little bit wider and be able to force him out to the boundary, and he just didn't have that speed to hang with Laurent that time.
Now, this time, Chapman's going to line up in the slot, and it's going to be Laurent, the single setback, the fullback Polion in motion, basically acting like an H-back right there, and a flag before this one can get started. And this is the second time in a row, the second series in a row, Wade, that Covington has hit 1st and goal and committed a false start penalty on 1st and goal.
Yeah, they're killers inside the red zone there, and those are things you got to clean up. But, again, talking with Coach Salter before the game, he says, we've always found a way to kind of shoot ourselves in the foot, and this is one of those ways that they're finding that bullet in the foot right here by getting these illegal procedure penalties.
Moves the ball up. No, he's just, I thought he was perhaps going to realize they're going to bring a couple of officials in. They've got the ball spotted between the 14 and the 15, and the play before, the ball was sitting at about the 8.5-yard line. So they basically marked this as a 6-yard penalty.
We've seen this before.
Oh, yeah, it does happen. There's no doubt. Another flag before this one can get going, and it's again a false start. Let's see where they mark this one. I won't put it down just yet. All right, it's 5 yards there to the 19.
Well, I would guarantee that on the 6-yard penalty previous, Lance Leday wasn't arguing, right? But if that would have been 4.5, he'd have been arguing.
So from the 19, give it to your workhorse, Laurent. Trying to get the edge. Cuts it back. And there is a wave of defenders waiting for that cutback. I think Diebold was one of those guys there, Wade.
Diebold, Marmon. It was a whole host of Terriers right there. What they did is they slanted the field, Lenny. Lance Day has got to do something, as I said a few minutes ago, to be able to get his defense not to be absorbed by these huge guys in white, right? So now I've got to become a moving target. So I'm going to start running what are called stunts.
And this is a hold against Covington. So let's see where this flag was thrown. Of course, if you've been with us,
right.
You follow high school football. Holding is 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
This is going to make it.
Now the other thing is this. It's second and goal. It's second and goal at the 19. Maybe you turn this down. No, they're going to take it.
So it's first in a decade.
Now it's first and goal at the 29.
Right. So you don't have any call on your sheet for this. But getting back to what I was saying about the previous defensive play by the Terriers, you're going to have to do something to get your guys to be moving targets. So you're going to run what are called stunts. You're either going to twist up front, you're going to slant up front, you're going to run some sort of different types of twists and slants. Well, that time they slanted to the field, and they guessed right, and they got a lot of jerseys to that ball.
Out to about the 20-yard line there. That was Ray Gill, I believe, number 7.
Watch LeCompte right here. He's going to miss the tackle, but then he's going to get mad at himself and go chase him down and make the tackle. That's what you call want to. Great job by LeCompte right there. Getting after his mistake and cleaning it up and reestablishing himself for the tackle.
So from the 20, it's second and goal. Pass out in the flat. This is Chapman out to the 10. And there are a slew of Terriers there to meet him at the 8-yard line. But now it's third and goal at the 8. You've turned it into something manageable here.
Well, you've turned it into something manageable, but that's got to get taken away somehow by alignment. What's happening with that is they are getting onto the flank and out leveraging the defense. So what you've got to do is you've got to take away, by your alignment on defense, the leverage. And I can see Lance Leday and the rest of his defensive staff yelling at the outside linebacker that time that he was too tight, he was misaligned, and thus the leverage happened with the quick pass out into the flat like that on the bubble pass to the number 2 receiver.
Holy on the fullback is the single setback here, and whistles before this one can get going. And it's a timeout called by Greg Salter. Already 2 timeouts used here by Covington here in the first quarters. Greg Salter, the 8th-year head coach of the Lions. Covington graduate, 1996. His grandfather's name, Jack, is on the stadium there. He actually got a chance to play on Jack Salter's last team in 1995.
One of the greatest coaches of all times in the state of Louisiana, Hall of Fame coach. I mean, I got to meet Jack Salter and coach against him when I was a young coach. Sat with many meetings and clinics and conventions, coaching conventions and things of that nature, where we've sat and I've heard Coach Salter talk, and he was a huge influence on my coaching career just from the things that he taught me listening to him. And this is his grandson. If everybody in the state knows the name Salter, well, that's legendary in Covington.
No doubt about it. Jack Salter was the head coach of the Lions from 1963 to 1995. 33 seasons, 256 wins. Won the state championship in 1976. Finished as a runner-up 3 times in 75, 81, and 87. Like that 75 game. We'll be right where we are this time next Friday night at Strawberry Stadium in Hammond against one of the great Otis Washington St. Aug teams. Passing the flat on third down. Got it in the hand of his best weapon, Laurent, but he is going to come up short by about 3 yards.
Getting it out there real fast, trying to force your defense to flow. Try to take your one-on-one with your best and fast wide receiver out there. But look at the blue jerseys. They do a great job defensively getting over there and flowing to the ball and pursuing to the ball, and it's going to bring up 4th and goal from approximately the 3-yard line, like you said, Lenny.
Yep. And
decision time.
Yeah, you get the quarter break to think about it because we're winding down on the end of the first quarter. 12 minutes in the books here. Covington has really dominated from all phases except on the scoreboard. It is just a 3-0 Lion lead through one. We'll take the break. Back with the second quarter right after this. You're watching high school football from Crescent City Sports.
All right, here we go.
So first play of the second quarter, and it's decision time for Greg Salter. And Wade, it looks like may leave his offense on the field here on 4th and goal at the 3.
Well, I mean, again, you've got a huge offensive line. You've got some you're running back right there who's done a nice job tonight. So
Laurent's the single setback. They will give it to him. He is in for the touchdown, but hang on, we got a flag in the backfield.
Flag on the play.
Which might be a hold. It's not motion or anything because they would have killed the play, right?
I'm thinking the flag was thrown low, so low, right where it was thrown. I'm going to see if I can see it, and I will think it's a cut block.
Now they called it a hold.
Nope, it's a hold. You can see the hold on the left guard right there. Number 64, Jacques Pendergrass, looked like they got him for holding.
So now you back it up to, I guess they'll put it down at the 14-yard line. Let's see exactly where they're going to spot the football. Now the kicking team is on the field.
You know, I was guessing the way the flag was thrown there real quick. A lot of times down on the goal line, you're going to get a high-low block or an illegal cut block right there, and that's what I was thinking at first.
So Ponce was good from 22. This one's going to be from 30.
We saw him kicking from 50 in pregame. He had the leg. He just was off target.
Snap, kick, definitely got the distance, and that is true. So Covington gets a field goal out of this, and I think, again, Wade, that is a win for Vandebilt. You get 1st and goal defensively, and you hold to a field goal.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a win, and you take them any way you can get them, and that's a small victory in the middle of the war. You know, but over there on that Covington sideline, they're going to sit down and they're going to have to, have a heart-to-heart here. You know, they were staring at 1st and what?
1st and goal from at the 8.
And then they get
3
backed
penalties
up.
later,
right.
It was 1st and goal at the 29. So they had, in the goal-to-go sequence, they had 31 yards in penalties.
Correct. So they need to sit down and have some sort of heart-to-heart over there about stop shooting ourselves in the foot because, we can't keep going 1st and 29, right? So you battle back, you get it inside the 4, and then you have a holding penalty?
Yeah. Okay, here's your drive, Wade. 14 plays, 49 yards.
Right.
6 minutes and 37 seconds. Now, they really covered 80, I guess, on that because they got 31 yards in penalties. So you have the minus 31 in there. That's another 31 yards you had to cover. So they covered 80. This is going to be out of bounds. Kicked it towards the corner and just out of bounds at about the 1.5 yard line on that kickoff. That's Estrada handling the kickoff duties. He's also a punter and will occasionally see as a kicker as well. So Vandebilt will get a chance to start this at the 35-yard line.
Well, Vandebilt now has to get something going. They've got to take some time of possession back in this second quarter. They need to put something together. They got to move the sticks. get to playing football on the Covington side of the field. 3 and out here just isn't what they're looking for, obviously.
So Vandebilt, which started the last drive at the 10 and went 3 and out, only gaining 5 yards, is now at the 35-yard line. Give it away on first down. And not much doing there for Roundtree, maybe 2, and it's 2nd and 8.
He's brought down by Landon Bork, linebacker from Covington, a 6'1", 170-pound senior, did a nice job stepping up in there and shutting down that hole. Wasn't much room right there, didn't get much moving off the Vandebilt offensive line that time, trying to run that inside zone.
Roundtree now at the 800-yard mark for the season here in the first half of game number 7. Got a chance to finish with 1,000 on the year with two games left, of course, playoffs. Can't find a man open now. Throws it. It was intended for Jean-Luc Lepere, the junior wide receiver, who we could also see at quarterback. Incomplete. It's 3rd down.
Well, you got to have that time go off in your head. You hear about that every Sunday and everything. They talk. You hear about that all the time in regards to that quarterback clock going off in your head. He needs to know when to get rid of that ball, and he had a little problem right there stepping up into the pocket because the push was right back in his face.
So Archilla and the Vandebilt offense now face a 3rd and 8 from the 37. Steps up, throws, caught. Short of the sticks, though, as it's brought in by Hayes Thompson, the senior. He's about a yard short of a first down, Wade, and this is going to be decision time for Lance Leday on 4th and 1 at the 44.
If you're asking me what I'm going to do, I'm going to punt the football. Right here at this stage of the game and just a 6-point game. But you got to run those sticks right there. I don't know obviously, whether it was a called route or a stick route or something of that nature, but Hayes Thompson's got to know where he's got to get to push past that point of the sticks and come back to the sticks and catch the ball on time. Okay? He was a little short of the sticks, thus it's 4th down and
Maybe 2
yard?
feet.
Yeah, 2 feet, less than a yard.
Purvis will punt it away. This is going to, again, take a Vandebilt roll and will be dead at the 25-yard line with 10:10 remaining here in the first half. Gives us a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Riverlands Insurance Services, who encourages you to make your insurance game plan today. Riverlands is a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579 or go to riverlandsinsurance.com. All right, thanks to Nolan Luke, and Ben Hewlin, and all the folks over at Riverlands for their support of high school sports here at Crescent City Sports. And now Covington opens this drive from the 25-yard line. Pass out in the flat is brought in by Dickenzie James.
A lot of cushion right there on the number 1 receiver out there at the boundary. You count him 1 from the outside, 2, 3 going into the inside. The corner playing really soft right there. Quarterback looks up, Sharp sees that he's got soft coverage out there off the RPO, and he gets it out to his receiver right now, and he picks up nice yardage for the first down. Take what they're giving you, and that's what the Covington offense does.
Sharp thus far 5 out of 9 passing, 47 yards. Will throw it the other way, and a nice move. That's James again, and gets it out near the first down marker. That had a chance to go for a loss right there.
Get the money.
Well, you can see out again.
They're going to move it back to the 42. It'll be a gain of 6.
Well, they've got the numbers out there. They had 3 on 2 right there. The inside linebacker's trying to get out there as quickly as he can, and then again the corner's real soft on the wide receiver. So you've got 2 blockers out in front of a person with the ball. A Vandebilt defensive player almost makes a really nice play hustling out there, but when he got past him, nice pickup for the wide receiver.
A nice hit there as Laurent looked like he had room to run, but it quickly closed up and it'll be 3rd down and about 2.
Laurent brought down by Peyton Nunley, defensive lineman, 5'9", 242-pound junior, does a nice job getting there, trying to slow Laurent down. But you see a nice hole by that offensive line set up by Covington right there on your replay. Again, knocking those guys in blue off the ball or just absorbing them.
Line to make the 46. Laurent is met in the backfield. Nunley was in on that play. I think Andrew Villavaso was in there as well to stop that. They're going to give him forward progress to the 45, but it is 4th down and 1.
Now comes the decision time for Covington right here. Looks like they've already made the decision. They're going to punt the football.
The way your defense is playing right now, I think you've got to make that decision 10 out of 10 times. So it'll be Estrada handling the punting duties. He averages 40 yards a punt. Has a long of 58 this year. Taking it about the 24-yard line and out across the 30 on the return.
6 yards on the return.
Let's see where they put the football to start this Vandebilt series.
Great job by the returner running up there and making sure he catches that football. I mean, we talk every week about those hidden yardages when that ball drops onto the ground and it just bounces around and it doesn't give you the yardage you need on your punt return game, right? So nice job by the Vandebilt returner right there, getting up underneath and catching and returning that punt, making sure it's caught.
Yeah. So Vandebilt begins at the 32. Give it away on 1st down, and we get first big play of the night by Roundtree. Hasn't really been able to get going on the first 2 series, but he'll get 10 on that one for a 1st down.
Roundtree does a nice job hitting the hole. I think they run a little gap scheme right here where they're going to block down, kick out. There it is. There's the down, there's the kick out, there's the seal right there by the backside tackle. Nice job right there on the gap scheme. Big pickup for the Vandebilt running back.
Roundtree gets the 1st down, gets it again here on 1st and 10, and we'll get about 2.
Roundtree is their workhorse. That's the guy has come in, as you said, with 797 yards on the night. He's been averaging 7.3 yards a carry.
And the thing is, he gets it about 18 times a game as well. So you know they're going to call his number quite a bit, and they've already done it here this evening 4 times for 15 yards. 2nd and 8, ball at the 44-yard line. This time they fake the jet sweep, and that was LePere operating at quarterback that time, and LePere keeps it to about midfield.
Jean-Luc LePere, he can throw the football, he can catch the football, and he can run the football. What they like to do with him, talking with Lance Lede prior to the game, they like to use them in those situations where they can run the zone read stuff, and that's exactly what that was right there. They faked one way, came back the other way, got the defensive end to bite down, and he had a nice running gain right there.
That'll be a 1st down as that was LePere once again on the carry that time.
That's all quarterback run right there. That's quarterback sweep right there. He gets out there, they get the kick out, he cuts underneath it. That's all LePere running the football. Like I said, we'll see him at receiver. He can catch the ball. They love to run the ball, and he really doesn't have that bad of an arm.
He's thrown it 40 times this year. This is Archilla, who will complete it out near side here to LePere, and he got about 1.
Great pursuit by the guys on white from Covington and the white jerseys. Those guys getting out there fast.
That's, I guess, it's the 3rd time we've seen this year, Wade, where a team has a player that they're using some at quarterback, and when he's not in the game at quarterback, then they're using him at wide receiver. They're just finding a way. More and more people are finding a way. Get your best players on the field and get your best players with the football in their hands.
Well, I mean, nothing's written in stone, but what should be written in stone is get the ball into your best players' hands, like you say, and you've got to invent ways. Right there, that's a broken play.
Yeah, broken play, and Archilla will have to run, at least turn something out of nothing there. Might have gotten a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Can't tell if it's the the running back's fault, or was it Archilla's fault that he might have opened up the wrong way off the pistol? I'm guessing right there it might have been the running back's fault because the offensive line was blocking inside zone to their right. Looked like the running back should have been stepping to his right and receiving that ball.
Call it a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Line to make is the 35-yard line. Vandebilt's best possession of this evening, a couple of first downs, and they are in Covington territory for the first time. Not much running room there for Roundtree as the penetration from the Covington defense saw Alex Sharp, Landon Bork, the leading tackle, all getting into the backfield and really just stopping that one before it could get started, Wade.
A lot of penetration up front. It was like a leaking sieve right there. Stopped Roundtree dead in his tracks right there. Once you stop those feet like that, it's all over. You're not making a jump cut. You're not keeping your feet alive. You're going down pretty quick.
In 3rd and 6, it was certainly a situation where you're thinking 4-down territory, but getting nothing there. Now it's 4th and 6. Terriers are going to punt the football for the 3rd time in as many possessions. At least we think they are. This is a fake, and they've got it well blocked. It's a first down. Dakota Purvis just put it down around end and went with it and got it out to the 28-yard line, a gain of 13 and a first down.
You said it, well blocked, Lenny, off the right edge right there. They had a body on a body. All they had to do was get the punter outside onto the edge, and Purvis did that. He picks up the first down. Great call by the Terriers. Real gutsy call by Lance Leday. That's fun stuff. I love to see those things happen, you know, how people invent and do things off their special teams.
So we'll call it the 29-yard line. In trouble. Archilla just gets it away before he goes down. It was in the direction of Porsche, incomplete.
I think that was Landon Bork that was applying the pressure that time on the sack, if I'm not mistaken. Archilla needs to learn that I just don't throw the ball up in the air. He's in the grass right there. It's not smart just to say, well, I'm just going to throw it out there and hope, because when you throw it out there and hope, that usually ends up in 6 the other way, right? So he's got to learn as a young quarterback to make sure that when I'm in the grass, I'm going down. It's first about ball security.
Give it away on the jet sweep. It's LePere. Cut it up inside, and he's going to make this 3rd and manageable. Looks like about a gain of 5 on the play, maybe 6.
There's Jean-Luc LePere taking the handoff that time, so he can catch. He can run from quarterback. He can run from receiver. He can throw the football. That's like number 7 for the Saints.
Exactly. Three carries for 16 yards on this drive for LePere. 3rd and a short 5 from the 24. Jet sweep again. It ended up, that might have even been a pass. I'm not even sure what quite happened there. Porsche ended up with the football. Let's get another look at this, Wade, because it looks like it was supposed to be one of these little push passes, but it looked like a bobble that just ended up right in Porsche's hands, did it not?
I call it a pass. So I would go down on the stats that way. Again, jet sweep, kind of bobbled forward. If that ball would have gone on the ground, you definitely want to call it an incompleted pass.
4th and 5 and whistles. This will be a timeout. And a good chance to think about it here on 4th and 5 at the 24 with 3:46 remaining in the first half. Covington leading this one 6-0. And this is really no man's land here, Wade. You want to go for it here. 41 yards on a field goal try. It is a little bit long for most high school kickers. Yeah.
So this is no man's land, and that's the reason why you wanted on 2nd down, all right, and 3rd down, try to get half and half to put yourself knowing that you're going to go for 4th down in a real short, manageable 4th down situation. So when you come up to 4th and what is this, 5, 6 yards? You come up with a 4th and 5 like this. Now, there's only a few plays that are on that card that you can choose from. You're going to what are called your best plays. These are the ones you've got colored in gold, right? The best play that you can call in this situation. Best pass, best run, and you're thinking athlete here. Make sure I get the ball into the athlete's hands that can get this 5 yards to keep this drive alive. You think athlete right here.
Archilla with Roundtree, the sidecar. It'll be a pass. Stepping up, and that is caught, first down. And he found his tight end, Ross Ryan, who catches just his 4th pass of the year. So, well, exactly what we didn't think would happen there. You think maybe, okay, I'm going to find a way to get it to Roundtree. I'm going to find a way to get it to Porsche or LePere, the guys who have made plays for me all year long. No, they go to the tight end, Ryan, who sits down and finds a little spot there and gets 6.
Well, I like the scheme. They kind of delayed him from his tight end position and drug him underneath. And Archilla did a nice job reading his first and then going to his second option, which was the tight end.
There's a little shovel pass, and it is well defended there as they tried to get it to Porsche again. And it's going to be second down.
Well, we've seen this already tonight from both teams, a little sweeps where they're going to shovel it forward, toss it forward, whatever. That would go down as a pass right there, just nowhere to go. Great defensive play right there by the Covington defense, getting off the blocks and making a play.
They've done a nice job of taking away Porsche this evening. 2 catches for -3 yards.
Oh, that's when you got to look at your other guys. You got to go to the second options, and that's what they did for that first down play to their tight end.
Sprint out near side. Archilla will let it fly, incomplete. And hit Ryan right between the 2 threes there.
And that's got to get caught. He makes a big catch on the first down right there, and then it hits right in the numbers on the boundary, which would have brought up a third down. Right.
Third and very manageable. Now you got 3rd and 13.
So he's got to catch that football.
And again, you're starting to think about it. Purvis does the kicking and the punting, does have a field goal this year, so it depends on just how close you get this right here. Let's see what happens on this 3rd and 13. Think about getting some of it, maybe trying to get 3 out of it.
Here comes a blitz.
Pass near side, caught. Thompson will be brought down right at about the 15-yard line, but there is a flag, and could be in the area of offensive pass interference or offensive holding. Let's see if they got holding on the perimeter.
I think they're going to have holding out here, Lenny, on the tunnel pass or the screen, the wide receiver screen, sometimes called a tunnel screen. Here it is.
So they'll get a little bit of it, but then that is going to be 10 yards, again, from the spot of the foul, which it was downfield, so they're going to put the football at the 29-yard line. So it'll be a gain of 2 and then a 10-yard penalty along with it. So give Thompson a 2-yard reception, followed by the hold, and that's going to make it 3rd down and 21 at the 30-yard line.
Again, you're thinking about getting half of it back so you can make it 4th and half of that. So, again, no man's land for your field goal kicker. You want to try to get to some point where you can get it on 4th down.
Archilla stepping up, nowhere to go. He is brought down by Alex Sharp. First sack of the season for Sharp. It'll be a loss of 1 on the play, and now it's 4th down and 22 at the 31.
Credit the Covington coverage on that. They're sitting in their too-high defense. They're running mesh routes underneath. They're trying to get that middle linebacker to chase one of the mesh routes, or rub routes as some people call them, or if you're on defense, you call them pick routes, all right? But they're trying to get that Mike linebacker to chase one of them, and he just didn't chase. He did a nice job sitting right there, sitting in his zone, and nobody came open, so Archilla had nowhere to go to the ball. Credit the Covington secondary for that play.
Vandebilt's going to call timeout here right before the play clock expires with 1:28 to play here in the first half. 4th down and 22. The ball at the 31-yard line. This is what we've talked about this before. There's not a lot of 4th and 22 plays on your call sheet. You go,
no, there aren't.
Clearly you got to dial something up here.
Yeah, you're right. It'll be something that's going to have to go vertically down the field, obviously. But, I mean, it's just so hard because, again, unlike in the NFL or in college, you just can't go out and get guys that are athletes that can fit into these situations.
Well,
right?
then the other part of it is if this is college or the NFL, 4th and 22 at the 31, you're trying a 48-yard field goal right now.
True, but if I've got to go for 4th and 21 in the NFL or in college, I've got some guys that can run some of these routes that I know that I can get vertically down the field and either get the matchup I want or somebody that will come open. If I don't have those type of athletes, then it's turning in, believe it or not. If you give up the interception down there, it turns into a good punt.
So this is the 17th play of this Vandebilt drive that started back at the 32-yard line.
Look at the cushion being given on the corner.
Archillo will step into one, let it fly, and it was caught but out of bounds by Porsche, and Covington's going to take over on downs.
If you notice the coverage that time, everything was basically quarters with a lot of cushion by the corners down there, knowing that they're going to have to go vertical right here. Look, you don't see a corner within 10 yards of the number one receiver at the top or at the bottom of the film, or the screen there. So they throw vertically into the end zone. It draws the safety over. You're throwing into double coverage. It's got to be a perfect catch with a perfect throw in order to get something happening there. Odds are defensively you're going to make a play without interference, and Covington takes over again at pretty decent field position. 31-yard
line, maybe a chance to do something here before the half. Remember, Vandebilt won the toss and deferred, so they're going to get the football to start the third quarter.
You want to try to double-double right here, come away with some points.
Little pump fake right there, and letting it fly, but incomplete in the direction of James.
We've already seen that tonight. We've seen the hitch and go or out and up, the double move out there. The corner does a nice job over there again. They were picking on Landon Rogers, who was step for step with the receiver. Nice job by that defensive back.
Rogers on the year, an interception, couple of pass breakups, 23 tackles. Just a junior, 5'11", 162 pounds. So second down and 10, the ball now at the 31-yard line. By the way, that last drive mentioned 17 plays. It took 7 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. This is the fullback we haven't seen carry it much tonight or this season, and that's Pullion. He's going to get it out to the 49 or make it the 48-yard line, a gain of 17. He only had 25 yards rushing coming into tonight, but he popped one right there for 17.
Well, Vandebilt's trying to set the edge right there with Sean Diebolt, but he just gets mauled by the big offensive tackle from the right offensive tackle from Covington.
Check that. There was a hold on the play, and this is going to come back.
Well, as I was saying, that was Melvin Bates that was just absorbing Diebolt. Diebolt just couldn't get off the block. They wall in the linebackers, and the stretch play goes for a nice gain, but to not, it's going to get brought back for holding.
It's going to be 11 yards on the penalty. It's going to wipe out a 17-yard gain from Pullion.
So you go from a 17-yard gain to second and...
Well, here's a problem here, Wade, and this is one. They had already moved the sticks for the first down, and then saw the flag. They just put the sticks down in the wrong spot.
Right.
They're sitting on between the 26 and the 36. The play started at the 31, so the sticks are 5 yards in the wrong spot right here, which is a little bit different. I mean, it makes it right now. It's showing 2nd and 16. They are talking about it. Let's see if they get this resolved. It should be 2nd and 21.
That's the reason why that line judge over there, and I'm not speaking for any officials here. Lord knows I've been all over them my whole career. But that line judge over there turns around and orders and says, "Do not move the chains until we tell you to move it."
And they still don't have them in the right spot here, Wade. They are in the wrong spot. It's second and we're hearing or seeing some serious animation there. We're going to have a whistle and a stoppage, and maybe they're going to get this resolved.
And it looks like Lance Leday is going nuts over it. He gets it. You're not going to get much over there from.
Is this a sideline? Maybe a sideline warning against Vandebilt. I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, but again, they still haven't resolved it. I mean, you don't want this to turn into a situation where.
Correct. Yeah. And
it's supposed to be 2nd and 21, but based on the sticks, it's 2nd and 16.
That's an official mistake. You don't move those chains until the white hat says time to move, and then the line judge tells the chains to move. Oh my!
34 seconds remaining in the half. That's a little shovel pass to Laurent, who it's well defended there. And a nice job by the Vandebilt defense holding that to about a 2-yard gain, and it's going to be 3rd down and long.
They kept leverage that time. Nobody got outside of them on the sweep, and that was a great stop right there by Michael Rodrigue, 5'11", 188-pound junior linebacker.
And it looks like that's going to be the final play of the first half. They will let it run out. So that will bring us to halftime, where your score is Covington 6, Vandebilt nothing. Wade, quick thoughts on what we saw here in a very defensive-minded first half.
Well, a defensive-minded first half, but also a couple of, major mistakes that, Covington's going to have to get straight as they go into their locker room about making sure that they don't shoot themselves in the foot when they have the opportunities inside the 20-yard line. Couple of wins right there from Vandebilt Catholic in the small war of things, holding team to just 2 field goals and 6 points. But they've got to find a way, Vandebilt being that they've got to find a way to move this football in order to hold on to it so they can get some time possession in the second half.
Well, earlier this first weekend is the first, by the way, it's Friday the 13th, which should tell you a lot of things, but the last Friday the 13th we had
in 2020.
Right. The last Friday the 13th in 2020 was March the 13th, which was when we really got into COVID-19 in Louisiana. I was in Lake Charles for the state basketball championships.
Right.
When they decided to play the finals with no fans in the stands.
I remember
for all 12 state championships, the 7 that were being played in Lake Charles and the 5 games on the select side, the division state championships that were being played, they were all played in front of no fans, just media and officials and the players, and that was it. No cheerleaders, no band. It was just players, officials, and the media. That was all that was there. So here we are, 8 months later. The LHSA is conducting its first championship as we speak this weekend at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner, the state volleyball championships. Next week we'll see cross country, we'll see swimming, and of course a week from Sunday we'll see the announcement of the football bracket. Yesterday, our Ken Trahan had a chance to catch up with the LHSA Executive Director Eddie Bonine to talk about all of those topics and more.
Ken Trahan at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner, where the LHSAA State Volleyball Championships are taking place. And that in itself is something really good to mention, because here we are in November and there are championships taking place on a statewide level. Visiting with Executive Director Eddie Bonine of the LHSAA. And Eddie, first of all, I'll start there because clearly this was something that a lot of people doubted could happen. It's happening. The season has gone successfully. Very few distractions and issues, so you have to feel good to get to this point with volleyball.
We do, and I think that it's taken a lot of time, patience, by the association and our executive committee and staff, because the families and athletes were anxious, so we let them have that anxiety to work. But we couldn't be here today if it wasn't for the parents, the students, the coaches, the athletic sports and medicine people, athletic trainers, the medical personnel in our regions, and the administration all the way to the top. They really wanted this to happen. They've proven that. But they've also been able to manage to get their schools back in order with some in-person learning, but other multiple educational platforms, which is what this is all about. We're an education-based association, so we want to make sure that all those pieces are falling into place. And here we are. That's our first championship of, I'm hoping, many this year as scheduled, and only time will tell. But we've worked the process that was put in place for us. We've been good neighbors. We've been good citizens in cooperating with what the governor and others have put forward for us to do, and we made it work. And kudos to the membership for getting it done.
Swimming is right behind.
Swimming while cross country's up, and then swimming. Yes, once I'm completed here, then staff's already on their way to Natchitoches, where we have state cross country, which Northwestern State does an incredible job for hosting it for us. And normally I'd come back this way and then head to Lake Charles, but because of the lodging and food situation down there, or lack thereof at the moment, while they're still trying to repair themselves from the storms, I'll go turn around and I'll go straight to Shreveport for state swimming as well up there, working with Shreveport Mosier.
Cross country, not as difficult because of the very nature of the sport. That's gone off without a hitch all season long.
We've been good, and you know what? Right now we've had athletes, as you know, and you followed in football, volleyball, already with basketball. We've had incidents of COVID and how it's being handled with whether it be a positive test or contact tracing or combination thereof is affecting some schools and respective programs at this point. But when it comes down to cross country, swimming, they've had very few. And when it comes to getting those off and running, I'll put my director of cross country, Mr. Adam McDowell, up against anybody when it comes to running these events. And then, of course, Michael Federico does an incredible job with his sports assigned, and his next up is swimming. But also those two sports have really good communities. I call them actual sport communities with those sports. Swimming specifically, they get a lot of lay people that help. They like to do that. To do that as on a side job if you're working the club swimming stuff. So those have done a great job. Now we have had nothing at this point. And when we shoot the gun and they take off, man, it's let's go. We're not worried about COVID.
Everybody always wants to talk about football, and of course, that's still going to be in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. You have made that decision December 26th, 27th, and 28th. And knowing that there will be some restrictions, you're going forward with that. Was there ever any serious consideration to moving the football elsewhere?
Well, there was consideration whether it was serious. I would say yes, but to a certain degree, depending upon the meter of seriousness, because we, in conversations with Alan Freeman, who's a colleague, a friend, and also, Alan as manages the company that manages the Superdome, hey, we want you to come here if we can, but we don't have limitations. So if I were you, I'd try to find a plan B. Or a plan C, which could very well be in your primary plan, depending. Things that they've done an incredible job. I say they, meaning the management team of the Mercedes Superdome, in satisfying the needs necessary for the New Orleans Saints to play there and working collaboratively with the local government there as well. So they're making strides. And as you know, with the program in place, we're not sure what the attendance would be, but if we're going to follow the same protocol that the Saints have in place and that SMG is using now to run those, we're good with anything they want us to do. We're going to do that. And depending on what at that point when we get to the threshold of what the attendance numbers are, we're going to do that as well. But what it came down to was I kept getting feedback from individuals that the year of Katrina, when the game was played outdoors in Shreveport, as you know, at the bowl up there, cold, windy, you never know what the weather's going to be, versus the experience of being in a Superdome. And you've been covering it for years, and I've had the privilege now of going on my 6th year to see the experience, to see the faces of those young athletes when they walk into the dome on those days that they normally would practice. I get goosebumps. It's cool for them. And I didn't want that to be in effect, because some of these athletes, if not the majority of them, Kim, didn't have baseball, track, the rest of their basketball season, powerlifting. They lost that in the spring. I remember that not only in my mind but my heart, and how that felt by not having that. That if anything we leave is we're going to have an opportunity to try to keep the experience as good as possible. Love to have fans. Need to have the fans. That's part of it. I get it. But if we can't, we're still going to do what we can to make sure the kids have a great experience.
The two-lane experience in football was a good one last year, but all the others, frankly, were not really that way on the select side. Therefore, it really is best to have everybody together in one great facility. And that's going to happen this year for the first time in a couple of years, obviously. That said, 9 different games, 9 different ticketed events, correct?
That is correct. That's going to be part of the process. As we're doing here, the games are played. They buy a ticket. We have to clean the facility out. We go through a process of sanitization, and we bring the next group in. So you'll probably see once we get to the format, the 3 games per day, there's probably going to be about 4 hours between games instead of the 3.5. We haven't always used the 3.5, but we have 45 minutes built in for each team to warm up. But we're going to have the ability. We're going to do the same thing. The fans will move out, and we'll bring the next group of fans in. So we're going to be using the same process with single game tickets down there for that as well.
You hope it's not an inevitability, but if there is a COVID issue in the playoffs, you simply remove that team and advance the other team and move on, correct?
And we'll take the response. The schools have been practicing the COVID-related mitigation measures since June. They've been doing the contact tracing. They've been doing the isolation of those that feel as though potentially they had contact with COVID or they've actually tested positive for COVID. You know the process. They've all been doing that. And when it gets to the point that they can't move forward in cooperation with their local regional medical expert, Yes, sir. They remove, and we move the next team on. Move the next team on in the playoff.
It was basketball last year where we first encountered this pandemic and had to shut down the fans in Lake Charles. And basketball is just about to start up now. What provisions are in place with that sport?
Well, the winter sport provisions are going to be just as strenuous as we've had for football. And actually, the experts are telling us that there's going to probably be more cases, believe it or not, of COVID in basketball than we had in football. Because there's more contact, if you will. It's hard to believe, but you got a collision and contact, but touching each other, the sweat. I mean, just the whole thing.
Without equipment.
Without equipment on, exactly. And that's going to be something that we're going to work through. But Ms. Hoyt has done an incredible job overseeing the basketball piece, and the coaches get it. Coaches, when all the athletes went on the bench, are going to have to wear the mask. All the coaches, when they're on the sidelines, are wearing the mask. Athletes can wear the mask or don't have to, whatever they're comfortable doing while they're playing. The officials can wear the mask or not, okay? But what you did mention, which I know is a sport dear to your heart, is what's wrestling going to look like?
That was next and last, but go ahead. They're already wrestling this year. I've actually written about some of the dual meets.
They are, and I think of any sport that's prepared for potential virus that have left, dealing with the MRSA and all the other things they do. I think that sport's probably the cleanliest and cleanest sport, if you will, with not only the equipment that they use and how they do it. So maybe we're worrying a little bit about something that may not be as bad, but just thinking about the sport. And I said before, gosh, these have given me gray hair at this point, no matter what. I can't wait to see what wrestling might do for us. But maybe that's a sport that surprises us, and they're not as much as what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you've got soccer, you've got baseball, softball, still on the horizon, among others, and you just take it one day at a time, basically, and try to treat each one individually.
And I used to use that mantra, one day at a time, but with COVID, it's been about an hour at a time. Ken Trahan, Eric Held that works for us in our coaches association, he'll walk into my door and he'll look at me and say, "Guess what?" I
Lost
go,
another one.
Exactly. We had so it could be hour to hour, but gosh, I can't speak enough about the job that the coaches, the athletes, our sports medicine personnel, the medical experts, and the medical experts have been taking it on the chin too, because all of a sudden they're involved in the how many athletes or all the athletes. They're releasing those that they've seen back. The other 14 are having to be released by ladies and gentlemen honor coming back after the 14 days. The 14 days starts different for some. It doesn't always start on a Monday. It could start on a Thursday. It could start on a Wednesday. It just depends on when they were notified and how the process has gone through. It's driving the coaches and the sports medicine people crazy. But it's what we're doing right now. But I truly believe that the whole effort has got us to where we sit here today with all of those individuals in all of our sports. We wouldn't be having the championships here today as our first. And I truly believe that as we move forward going into the Superdome, it's going to lay the groundwork for what we're going to potentially see with our winter sports. But I know that Ms. Hoyt has also conveyed to me that we've already had some teams that have participated in jamborees or scrimmages that they've had athletes get positive. They've had to pull them out for the next 2 weeks. They've canceled their own jamboree or scrimmage coming up. You probably know that as well. Yep. So it's going on right now. We're good, because at the end of the day, and people were banging on me, including yourself in a kind way, have you decided on minimum number of games yet? Have you decided? Well, we felt as though we displayed the patience, and I thought the timing is good now to see how many schools we had that were going to be at a minimum number that we knew we could get the bulk. And the report that I gave to the executive committee and the media the other day was that we have only 10 schools that have only played 3 games, with the 4-game minimum being necessary to qualify. So that's quick math. That's cowboy math. 90% of our schools have played 4 or more to get to the week that we are now. And I think that plan is what we're going to also probably implement for basketball. We're going to wait and see how it goes, how many games are being played. I don't see anybody getting their full 34, 35 games in. And not everybody's going to be able to potentially play all their district games. We waived the district champion piece, and then we have sports that in basketball specifically, you get points for being the district champ. All of that stuff's on the table, Ken. We're going to deal with it as it comes around.
Keep up the good work, my friend.
And thank you, and I want to thank you and all you do for high school sports in the state of Louisiana for years. And we appreciate what you do and the collaborative effort you work with us and what we do.
Appreciate it, Eddie. Thank you.
Some good insight there from Eddie Bonine, Wade, on a number of topics. And the one thing, obviously he touched on a lot of sports, but the one thing I'm glad to hear him say, the reasons about staying in the dome and the experience that creates for the young men who get the opportunity to play for a state championship. And you could play it somewhere else and still be playing for a state championship, but there is nothing like, you got a lot of those kids who have never even set foot in the dome before the chance they get to play on that field. And it's it's extraordinary. So as we take a look at the first half stats there quickly, Wade, then we'll look at some scores.
Well, let me real quickly say one thing about Mr. Bonin. I give a lot of credit to him for getting things back online and getting things back up and running.
He's in a no-win situation.
Right. You were talking about that March 13th. I mean, he was put into a no-win situation, but I credit him from the standpoint of getting stuff back on the field, on the court, as many fans as possible into the stands, and getting our kids back participating and playing again. And that that's credit to him, because there are some states that haven't gotten to the point where we are.
Right. And they kicked it all the way to the spring.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Exactly. But credit Mr. Bonine and his staff. Those guys have done yeoman's jobs to getting it back to where it is now, where our kids can compete on the field.
Now, as you look at those numbers, Wade, 141 to 61 in the total yards in favor of Covington. The one thing that the stats don't tell you there
time of possession.
Besides time of possession, which actually balanced out a little bit with that long drive by Vandebilt,
right,
is just the red zone. Both Covington had 2 possessions in the red zone, both ended in field goals. Vandebilt had 1 possession that got to the red zone that ended up with 0 points. So the inability to turn those red zone possessions into touchdowns on both sides.
That's a killer every time.
No, it's bad for offense, but tip of the hat to those defenses for coming up and making plays when they had to make them. Right. As their opponents got down deep. So. There's a winner and a loser on every play, as we know, in every situation, and it's the offenses want to do more, but the defenses have done a good job when things have gotten down close.
Right, and we said time of possession, which kind of balanced out a little bit with Vandebilt on that last drive right there. But let's talk about snaps of possession. Okay, the number of snaps that Covington has to Vandebilt's offensive snaps, and it's a lot to a little. Okay, so from that standpoint, that plays out especially in that total yardage right there for Covington. Now, what does Covington have to do here? They better talk about how to stop shooting themselves in the foot, and that should have been a big, huge talk by Greg Salter to his team in the locker room at halftime. What does Vandebilt have to do? Again, they've got to find a way to move that ball offensively, consistently on offense.
No doubt about it. Let's quickly take a look at some scores here before we get into the second half of football. As we mentioned, 48 games this week impacted by COVID-19, including, of course, the 2 games that these 2 teams were originally scheduled to play. We mentioned it was supposed to be Vandebilt Catholic and Assumption here tonight playing for a district championship. Covington was supposed to be playing North Shore. That was canceled because of COVID-19. Covington lost their game on Wednesday. Vandebilt lost their game earlier Thursday, and by 1:30 yesterday, they had agreed to play a football game. And tip of the hat to to these schools for getting it together, like you mentioned, for the good of the kids here in terms of them getting a chance to play. This was supposed to be Covington's senior night. So
Covington's senior night. This was going to be for the District 4A championship right here tonight, between Assumption and Vandebilt.
Right.
But like we said at the beginning of the show, Lenny, and everybody out there needs to understand, every game that is played counts for something, especially in what are called the power ratings, which are the way our brackets are set up and based to be set off of. So still a lot at hand for Covington in this second half, and a lot at hand for Vandebilt Catholic. This could be the difference between Vandebilt Catholic going on the road or being at home for their first round of the playoffs.
Could be the difference between Covington in the playoffs or watching come Thanksgiving week. Some quick look at scores here before we kick off the second half. Destrehan on the road leading Central Lafourche 28-0 at halftime. Jesuit at Tad Gormley tonight leading Hanville 21-14 at the half. In reserve, Riverside and West St. John on a defensive slugfest. 7-0 Riverside at halftime.
Well, we saw Riverside a few weeks ago against Newman, and their defense was really not up to par that night, but it seems like it's definitely up to par tonight.
Yeah, St. Charles Catholic at South Plaquemines leading 21-0 second quarter. Holy cow. Newman over Cohen at halftime, 60-0.
Ouch.
Newman scored 42 points in the first 7.5 minutes of that game. So here we go. Third quarter underway. Kick returned by the Terriers out past the 30-yard line. And that was like Porsche on the return there, I believe. Out past the 30. We'll see where they spot the football and where this drive gets underway. It'll be the 33-yard line.
I'd like to see Vandebilt get back into some of their RPO game right here in this particular series. Try to set some tempo by upping their tempo a little bit and running some RPO game to be able to put some of the defensive players from Covington in different positions to be able to have to make choices, and you hopefully can capitalize off of that offensively. That's what the RPO game is.
On first down, throw it the other way, and that was very nearly intercepted right there.
Well, that was red, right?
Yeah, they read that little wide receiver screen to the perimeter there, and it was broken up, incomplete.
Well, they had that red right, and they jumped right into the middle of it. Couldn't get a number out there on it to be able to make that play, but it was a fine play by the outside linebacker from Covington to be able to break that up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was number 6.
Was that that's Laurent.
That was Laurent, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't get the number. Maybe it was number 8, Bryce Blackwell.
And this is Dylan Goday on the carry here on second down. Haven't seen as much of Roundtree here, as that will gain 9. Goday came in with 196 yards rushing on the year, 5.4 per carry. 3rd and 1 from the 42. And movement up front, and I think Covington may have jumped here. That we saw that jet sweep motion, and all of a sudden Porsche stopped and turned back the other way, and I think that little movement there might have caught the eye of one of the Covington defensive linemen, and he jumped.
That and the hard count that Archella gave right there, which was definitely helped draw them off sides. Or was that Luc Lapierre, Jean-Luc Lapierre that might have used that hard count on him?
Give it away on the jet sweep this time, and that is Porsche. He will lose a couple on first down.
Porsche on the end of round.
Again, that jet sweep right there. Everybody's trying to block a man over or a gap over on the zone outside, and it ends up being kind of a toss sweep type of play right there. And the way you hand it off, it's created as a if you kind of toss it, it becomes a pass. If you hand it off, it becomes a run.
So second down, 12. Make it 12. One or the other there. Give it away on first down. That's Goday again.
Goday's brought down right there by Travers Benoit, 19 tackles, 4 sacks on the season. Defensive end, 6 foot, 225-pound junior, came down from his defensive end position right down the line. Nobody cut him off and made a huge hit on Goday.
By the way, for the Covington fans watching this evening, big one, of course, in their league tonight, Ponchatoula leading St. Paul's. As we're going to see a flea flicker here. Shot to the post, incomplete, just out of the reach of Hayes Thompson. They ran the old reverse and then flipped it back to the quarterback, and Thompson was covered. There were defenders there, but he had gotten one step behind and very nearly brought that one in.
Jean-Luc Lapierre puts the ball out there where he can run under it and catch it. It was just off his fingertips. He ran a post and go. Thompson runs post and go right there to try to set it up, look like it's a cutoff block for a run. And what does he do? He breaks it to the post, and it's just off his fingertips.
High snap on the punt, but a nice play, and it's handled, and it's rolling, and another great Vandebilt roll here as they will put this dead at about the 13-yard line. That will be a 39-yard punt by Purvis.
They're getting some mileage out of the punt roll right there. That's got to get caught by the returner of Covington to make sure that thing doesn't hit the ground again and roll another 10 or 15 yards, and Vandebilt's able to get that hidden yardage.
Chance to remind you, the Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Gills Bar, for more than half a century offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines. And they're headquartered in the North Shore, not too far from the Covington campus. To learn more on how Gills Bar can help your business, visit gillsbar.com. First look at the Lions on offense here in the third quarter. hand it to the bell cow on first down. And we called Quintez Laurent's name quite a bit in the first half. And it looks like he got right to the sticks there, right at about the 22-yard line. See where they spot it? I think they're going to mark him about a half-yard short.
Well, they give it to the bell cow again, as you said right there, and they're running the scheme up front with the gap scheme or a counter scheme where they're going to block gap down, gap down, gap down. They're going to kick out with the guard and pull the backside tackle. Huge hole right there. Nobody's in it for Vandebilt, and thus it looks like it gave them the first down.
They did give him the first down. And once again, it's Laurent, and that's not going to get as much. Maybe a yard on that one.
Nice job right there by Vandebilt, getting a hold of the ankle of Laurent to be able to drag him down right there just for a short gain.
Yeah. Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9 at the 23-yard line.
Again, Lenny, this Covington line is huge. I mean, if you look at and then the white jerseys, I mean, these guys are massive right there. So, Vandebilt is kind of undersized on their defensive line. It's hard to get off of people when they're putting their bodies on you like that and you get absorbed.
Well, you know what they say, that the camera adds 10 pounds, right? So perhaps that's, showing them here tonight is putting 10 more pounds on theirs. Laurent on the jet sweep as he had lined up out wide on the bottom of your screen, came around, took that one off right end and will get about 3 yards, and it's going to be 3rd down.
When you talk about that camera, so is that why I look so big when we're on television? I mean, somebody told me that. Is that what that's all about? Okay, well then I'll know it.
There you go.
I've got to wear slimming clothes.
High definition too. It's tough out there.
Well, I know.
That's why I sit in the truck for those games.
It's rough out there on a TV analyst, right?
There you go. There you go. Actually, they moved this back to the 24, it looks like. 3rd and 8. We'll try to go this way with it, and it's caught, but it's going to be short of the first down. James on the catch, but well defended right there by the Terriers.
Josh Rotolo does a nice job from his cornerback position right there. The ball's a little high. Just wasn't as well thrown as we've seen some of those other outs thrown tonight by Sharp right there. And it gave the opportunity for Rotolo to drive on the ball and make a nice tackle immediately for no yards after catch for the receiver.
So 4th down at about 2. Lions will punt it away. Good kick, but it's handled at about the 35-yard line, and a good return with room to run and still on his feet. Out to the 30, still on his feet. 20, 15, 10. Brought down just shy of the goal line. Landon Rogers, a big play on special teams for Vandebilt. 64 yards on the return.
Vandebilt sets up a wall onto the short side of the field, and they punt into the wall. Landon Rogers catches the ball, does a nice job catching it, but he gets right behind the wall onto the short side. You can see all the blue jerseys setting up the wall. Now, Landon Rogers does a nice job also making a couple people miss. Hey, they're in business now down inside the 5-yard line.
So on the goal line here, let's see how they line it up. Putting a couple of big bodies in the backfield there. And this is Porsche lining up at quarterback, taking the direct snap and in for the touchdown. So normally you see Wildcat with a running back. They went Wildcat with a wide receiver right there. Put a couple of big bodies up in front, and he takes it in for the 1-yard touchdown. And we've got a tie football game with 7:41 remaining in the quarter. Actually didn't run the clock on the play.
Okay, all the time. It's not always about the plays. It's about the players, right? So they put the ball in the hands of an athlete. They get some big blockers, as you said, in front of them into heavy formation, and they bull their way into the end zone.
Point after try is off the upright and no good, and we remain tied at 6.
Mistakes like that just add to the drama of this football game, right? We get a punt return. We get some great defensive plays in the first half. Some penalties, moving an offensive back, and now you get a boink off of the PAT with the ball against the goalpost. It's a lot of dramas going on here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, let's talk about special teams for a minute there, because obviously a big play. Right. Rogers, who plays cornerback and is obviously their best corner,
correct,
is handling the return,
yes,
but he's not a guy that we necessarily see on offense. And more times than not, at least on the high school level, you see you put your offensive skill guys out there, but they're putting a cornerback out there. Look, LSU does it with Derek Stingley.
Right.
And you see, Deion Sanders is one of the best returners of all time. So it's not unusual. I'm just saying at the high school level to see that is a bit unusual.
The first thing you find in a returner is they got to have guts, right? Okay, you got all these guys in this other jerseys running down at you, and you're looking up at a ball, correct? So a lot of times it might be a receiver, it might be a running back, it could be a defensive back. The next reason why you also have defensive backs learn how to catch punts back there, so you don't want to take your defense off the field when it's a punting situation that is a safe situation, so you can play defense if you have to.
Fielding on a hop on the return and taken out to about the 29-yard line, and that's where Covington will start this series. 7:33 remaining here in the third quarter, and all of a sudden a tie football game.
But getting back to that punt return again with special teams, it was very well set up. All right, the wall was perfectly set up just off the hash, between the hash and the numbers. Great job blocking right there. And you know what you have to have a return go just right? No block in the back, no holding, no little penalty, anything that can take place on any type of play where people are running around crazy. And it worked perfectly right there for Vandebilt. And that comes down to a lot of practice and time put in on special teams.
Give it away on first down, and that is Laurent out to about the 32-yard line. Give him 3 on first down.
He was brought down by Peyton Nunley, big defensive lineman for the Terriers right there. Did a nice job coming from his defensive nose position right there to make that play.
We were starting to talk about the scores in the North Shore League, District 6-5A. Big one tonight in Covington. Ponchatoula leads St. Paul's at the half, 14-3.
Wow.
And a nice hit there on that little swing pass. That was, I believe, Matthew Capel on the play, who came up and delivered a blow as Chapman caught it out in the flat for about a gain of 3.
Well, they're running the quick screen out there again, or the bubble screen, or the float screen, some people call it. But what people might have seen right there on the replay was almost a block in the back by big Melvin Bates, the right offensive tackle, getting out there and blocking the edge.
So it's 3rd and 4 at the 35.
Credit that big man's athleticism for getting all 6'4", 290 pounds of his body out there to block on a corner.
Sharp throws, broken up. It was intended for Chapman, and that was Andrew Villavaso, whose name we've called a bunch tonight. Got a hand in there from his linebacker spot to break that one up, and it's 4th and 4, and Covington is going to have to punt it away.
Covington goes empty to try to spread that defense out, which they do. They get them spread across the board. Vandebilt goes man-free right there. And nice job by Villavaso getting his hand in there to rake that ball away for the to bring up the 4th down punting situation for Covington.
So still 2 men deep here. See if they play it a little differently. This will be once again fielded by Rogers, trying to get some running room. Makes one man miss, makes another man miss, still on his feet, out near the 40-yard line. As I think they were trying to rip the football out right there. That was
That's
on
correct.
the coverage. That was Reese Polion, the fullback.
What ends up happening right there, they set the wall up to the wide side of the field that time, and Rogers ends up taking it to the short side, realizes he wants to try to work back over behind his blockers because he had a little bit of room. Trying to make something out of nothing, does a nice job right there. Ball almost ripped out of his hands. Like you said, they're trying to tackle the football, not tackle the man. He does a nice job holding on to it for ball security and getting out of bounds.
So from the 40, little bit of running room there on first down for about 4 yards. And
it's another look
once again, that's Gode on the carry.
I was going to say another look at Gode right there trying to run the inside zone. A little bit of movement up front by the Vandebilt offensive line. Got some movement on that Covington defense. Now, Covington all night has been sitting, as I said, in their 3-4 look and always playing a too high secondary. But those secondary guys are inching down into the box. Look for Vandebilt to take some more shots here.
Set up a middle screen that time, and it's well conceived and good for a first down.
Incomplete to Jean Gobert.
And there is LePere on the catch. Gain of 7 on the play.
Vandebilt in a little bit of rhythm here. They do a nice job running the tunnel screen right there. LePere comes back behind the line of scrimmage, gets behind those big offensive linemen, and picks up the first down. Now, you wonder why the offensive lineman could be downfield right there is because LePere came back behind the ball, caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage, which allowed the offensive lineman to release downfield.
Not much room for Archilla. He's looking to scramble and cannot get to the outside, and he is brought down by Bryce Blackwell. First time we've had a chance to call Blackwell's name tonight. 48 tackles on the year, 4 for loss, couple of interceptions, a forced fumble, just a big play machine, and comes up with a sack right there for a loss of about 12.
Archilla's got to learn to get rid of the football. Number one, he set his feet nicely. Nobody's open. It's covered. Let's sling it somewhere. Put the ball safely out of bounds. Let's come back and play another down.
Give it away on 2nd and long. Looking to get some of that lost yardage back. And that is Gode once again. He will get 9 on the play, and it's going to be 3rd down and 13.
Nice job right there. A little inside zone scheme again. We've seen this continually tonight out of Vandebilt running the inside zone. He picks up nice yardage right there to bring it down to about 3rd and 12.
Line to make is the 39-yard line of Covington. Archilla goes far side. Caught. And it'll be just short of the first down. I shouldn't say just short, about 6 yards short of a first down.
They run the wide receiver tunnel screen again out there. They pick up nice yardage, but just not enough to get it into a situation where they would even think about going on it for 4th down. Brings up a huge punting situation for Vandebilt.
4th down and 7 from the 46-yard line. They faked it once already tonight,
right, we saw
so you
correct.
Don't assume just because we're in a punt formation it's going to be a punt. It's a good kick. Got it down inside the 10, and it's going to roll out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. Well done.
Well done on the roll again, but here's the deal.
That wasn't much of a roll, actually, there.
Right.
That ball hit at the 10, so it was, went to the sideline.
But here's the deal. It's called a 10-yard rule. You plant your heels at the 10-yard line, and if that thing's a little bit forward or a little bit behind it, you get your hand up on that fair catch, and you catch the ball. You can't let that thing hit the ground like that. Now, if it's way over my head, it's you know it's sailing over my head from the 10, then you let it go into the end zone, you come out to play.
Hold everything here. We had, I believe, a roughing the kicker call on Covington there, and that's going to give a first down. So
I didn't see it. Did you see
it?
I
did not see it. I'm looking downfield at the punt, and the ball's now at the 31-yard line. And on 1st down, they tried to run LePere there with a little quarterback run, and there's a flag down again, and this may be a face mask against Covington.
Let's go back to that punt. Let's see if we can see it off the replay here. Let's take a look at it and see exactly what we missed up here. Good snap, good kick, and runs. It looks like he undercuts the legs of the punter, and that's a no-no right there. That's going to be 15 yards. So going back to that punt play, and when we got to this first down right here, absolutely right, roughing the punter.
So now 30 yards in penalties, and suddenly it's 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line, and you've got Vandebilt sitting in the red zone in what is a tie football game with a chance to take their first lead of the night. Pass is incomplete. It was thrown in the direction of Porsche.
Nice breakup by Tristan Guillory right there, coming from his cornerback position to get underneath the route and just get a hand on it at the last second and knock that thing away. Had he knocked that thing away, it would have been 6 points Vandebilt Catholic.
So the football at the 17-yard line. 3rd time tonight Vandebilt has been in the red zone. They came up empty the first time. Of course, a few moments ago they returned the punt to the 1-yard line. That made it nice and easy to get it in. And a tight end around here That's Hayes Thompson on the run. Was lined up in tight and basically got it back to the line of scrimmage, and it's third down.
Great pursuit by Covington defense. You weren't going to fool anybody there. They sat at home. They made sure that they came and watched their keys to make sure that they come back to be able to pick up the reverse right there, and then they run down the tight end who got the ball on the reverse handoff right there. Good job by that Covington defense. You know, you got to stay at home backside. You run reverses when you see backside people leaving. It's a counterplay. So when they're leaving what they're supposed to do, you keep them honest by running that reverse right there. That time, everybody on that Covington defense stayed home backside.
3-by-1 formation trips to the top of the screen there. Archilla's going to roll, look to keep this play alive, try to see if he can find a man open. Not much doing, and finally has to fling it out of bounds. Well done that time by the Covington defense there in the red zone to defend on the back end.
Again, like really good coverage, as you say. Archilla's got to make a better decision on getting rid of the football.
Okay, so now we're going to see the field goal unit, and this is Purvis coming on.
And look,
to try a go-ahead field goal.
Don't get me wrong about Archilla. He's trying to make something happen. He's an athlete, right? He's trying to make a big play happen because he's got some athleticism, and I credit the young man, but he's going to learn that he's going to have to get rid of that ball in a quicker amount of time, or bad things can end up happening to you. You can end up making forced throws that end up with bad things happening.
Purvis from 34, this had the leg, but it's wide left. So after those two penalties put Vandebilt in the red zone, they could not come away with points, and Covington will take over at the 20-yard line with 2:04 remaining here in the third quarter in a 6-6 football game.
That was all on Purvis. Great snap, great hold right there. He just hooks it to his left.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably you're on the edge of his range there, trying to make sure he gets it there. And
trying to overkick a little bit.
Exactly. You'll see that. You'll see that happen at every level.
Yeah, I saw it today on the Masters. You try to overswing a 5-iron, you're going to hook it into Rays Creek. You can tell what you can tell what I was watching today, right?
I'm lucky I get him in the air. So
they call overcooking it.
In the flat, caught. And James breaks a tackle and breaks free out past the 40-yard line. One of the best plays we've seen for either team offensively tonight, a gain of 21.
All right, Josh Rotolo just didn't do a good job right there. He's going to drive it. He's in a great position to make a play on this receiver, but he just kind of hand touches him right there. He's got to go through the receiver. He's got to put his shoulder pads right in that guy's ribs and go through him. Now, that's a hard way of saying it, but that's what this game's about. He's got to come up and make the play for no yard after catch or no yak.
James, 5 catches tonight, 54 yards. Give it away on first down, Laurent. And it got about 3. It'll be second down.
There's Peyton Nunley in there again. Nice job by him for that Vandebilt defense. Kind of building that wall, letting all the other guys in the blue jerseys get into him. And it looked like there was Villavaso, Andrew Villavaso, the linebacker, number 40, the leading tackler for the Terriers. He was there also.
Gain of 3, Laurent tonight. Laurent had 61 yards in the first quarter. We called his name a bunch in the first quarters. Covington seemed like they had the ball the entire first quarter. Much better job by Vandebilt since then, trying to quiet him down a bit. He's got 82 yards on 16 carries. We'll take it here on 2nd and 7, and not much doing right there. First guy to hit him in there might have been Ian Marmond, the senior defensive lineman. Got in there, and it'll be no gain on the play.
Credit Marmond, also credit Michael Rodring. Now, I'm going to tell you what the adjustment's been by Vandebilt. If you've seen it so far tonight, they started out in a 3-man defensive line, right? And they're normal 3-4. Now they've brought 8 into the box. They're lining up with 8 in the box and 4 to 5 on the defensive line. So they've really committed to the run, and that's the reason why Covington's got to throw the football.
Big-time catch on third down is Dickenji James, who's a sophomore. Goes up and gets that one and will move the sticks. It'll be a first down, I believe. They're moving the sticks. Yes, first down.
You know, it's a game of numbers. If you're going to bring 8 into the box, that means, you know, you're defending the pass with fewer number of people. You got to throw the football. It's just hard to run when you get 8 or 9 people in there. You just can't block them off. Somebody's coming undone. So you got to learn how to mix things up, which 17.
So here we go to get things underway in the fourth quarter. Covington will play a 2nd down 9, the ball at the Vandebilt 48. Didn't have to move it far to switch ends. Coming near side, and once again, it is James. Are they going to call us a catch and a fumble? I believe they are. And let's see, are they calling it incomplete or are they calling it a catch and a fumble? They're down at the 43, 44-yard line, so I guess it is. That ball was on the ground for a while, and that was a big missed opportunity there for Vandebilt. Wade, take another look.
Well, it is a catch and a fumble. That's what I look. Great job right there by Landon Rogers making the break. But the guys in blue got to realize that. They got to be rallying hard to that football and get onto that ball. You've got to you go on. When that ball's on the ground, it doesn't. You let the officials do their job. You go get the darn football because you don't know if that's a fumble or not. And I think that was a fumble.
3rd and 4 from the 43. Once again, they go find James. It's like they've got no answer for this sophomore wide receiver right now, and it's a gain of 9 and a 1st down.
Well, the answer problem here is they've got to play cushion on these receivers, right? The defensive backs of Vandebilt are giving up a speed number, I guess you would say, with the receivers from Covington. So you don't want to get burned deep. So what do? You play a little bit more cushion. So what do you do in turn on offense? You take what you're getting, right?
Taking advantage of it. We've seen sharp to James 4 times on this drive.
But you got to do what number 22, Landon Rogers, is doing right there. Make sure you tackle them when they catch the ball.
This is Chapman on the carry and nowhere to go. Strung out well by the Vandebilt defense, and they will run him out of bounds for a loss. Looks like about 4 yards on the play, 2nd and 14.
Folks that listen to us or heard me talk about defense, I talk about setting the edge all the time. You got to set the edge, make sure you turn things in or contain things. Great job, Vandebilt right there, setting the edge and stringing the play, the sweep out to allow the rest of the defense from Vandebilt to get to the ball to make a big play.
Injury timeout gives us a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Lamarck Ford and Kenner, now with an all-new 12-bay quick lane servicing all makes and models for brakes, tires, oil changes, and more. Come see our remarkable deals and service. Stop by or go to lamarck.com. And I can attest to the service level that you get in quick lane. And it doesn't matter whether you've got a Ford or...
They do it all, right?
Or another American-made car, a foreign-made car. It doesn't matter. They handle all makes and models.
They do it all.
Stephen Capel, the senior DB, walking off under his own power. 2nd down and 14 as we get ready to resume. About 90 seconds into this fourth quarter. This has really been a defensive slugfest. I'm not sure we expected this kind of game tonight. Then again, you didn't know what to totally expect. They'll try to do the pump and go that time, throwing it in the direction of his favorite target, and it's intercepted. Went to James again, but it was picked off, and that was Evan Frank, I believe, on the INT, Wade.
Evan Frank got underneath the ball. The ball looked like it was possibly deflected at the line of scrimmage, maybe a little bit on the out and up or the double move by the receiver. But great coverage out there also by Rotolo. Josh Rotolo had him covered, like white on rice out there. Got it? And that gave the opportunity for the safety to get across the top and make the play, and that was Evan Frank coming in with the big turnover right there at a timely fashion for Vandebilt.
The first turnover of this game goes to the Terriers, where they will play it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line with 10:27 remaining. First down, they'll give it away. And that was Roundtree back in the game, so that's a good sign. We haven't seen much of Roundtree since early, and he gets 2 there.
Well, we don't know if he was off on the sideline with some sort of injury or something. They brought on Goday to start the second half, and it is good to see Roundtree back in there.
Roundtree's only carried the football 6 times this evening for 17 yards. On 2nd and 8, Archilla trying to keep it alive. had a man open, but just a little bit too far out of the grasp of Hayes Thompson, and it's third down.
Arcello looked at his first receiver, his first choice, his first option. It's all covered. He comes back to his second choice and gets rid of the ball right there. Just cooks it a little bit too much over the open receiver right there for the incomplete. Brings up third and long. Trying to get on a hard count, trying to get a Covington defensive lineman to jump, and he moved a little bit, but he didn't get into that neutral zone.
So on 3rd and 8, Arcello will step into it, fires in and out of the hands of his receiver, Thompson.
Hey, great protection right now, right there by that Vandebilt offensive line to allow Arcello to step up and have vision and see downfield, and hits the receiver right in the numbers. Should have been a completion. Those are the killers that when you got to bring your punt team back on, you sit down on the bench and, that receiver better be looking at him saying, my bad. Because it was. You got to catch that football.
So on 4th down, Vandebilt will punt it away. This has been a weapon tonight, especially with some friendly rolls. This one is not going to get as much of a roll, and it will be down at the 45-yard line.
Punt returner's got to move up a little bit. He's got to get into a position where he can catch that football, and they didn't get the roll that time. But like you said, it has been a weapon for Vandebilt tonight in flopping field position for the Terriers. But Covington takes the ball over in great field position right here.
At the 45-yard line with 9:33 to play.
It's going to be interesting to see if Covington's going to come back and give a steady dose of Quintez Laurent here on this particular drive.
Well, we've had Laurent, we've had James Target in the passing game. He was thrown to, or they threw it his way 5 times. Actually, this is Chapman, who cut it back across the field and pops the biggest play of this football game thus far. 26 yards on the carry and a first down.
Well, he sees the outside zone is overcooked out there. He can't get out there and get onto the edge, so he puts his left foot in the ground, and he cuts it all the way back against the grain. Now, what should have happened right here for Vandebilt is 22 should have set the edge right there. Landon Rogers needed to get off that block and turn that play back inside so his other defensive players could rally back against the grain and make a tackle. He just couldn't get off that block. Great run by Laurent, though, making that cut backside.
Actually, Chapman, and this kid's going to be fun to watch.
I'm sorry.
Just a freshman.
Yeah, that was Chapman. I'm sorry.
This is Laurent trying to get it out near the 25-yard line, but he has stood up right there. He's only going to get a couple on the play.
Yeah, that was Chapman. You're absolutely right. He's 5'7", 155 pounds, and you're right. He is only a freshman. He has only got great things in front of him as he continues on his career.
Yeah, you look at this Covington lineup, and the offensive line is stacked with 4 seniors, okay? But you've got a senior quarterback, 1 senior receiver, and the rest of your skill guys are 2 juniors, a sophomore, and a freshman. So there is a lot of promise for the future there in terms of what you have in backs and receivers, for the Lions. 2nd and 9 from the 28. Laurent gets those shoulders heading north and south in a hurry, Wade, and he gets 3 that time.
Here's a nice read. They're running the bounce play right off tackle right there. They're stretching it outside. Everything's jammed up. Vandebilt sets the edge nicely, so where do you got to go? You've got to go north and south. Watch him get his shoulders north and south right there. Hits that hole, hits that crease, and he pounds it and picks up valuable yardage to put him in 3rd down and about 6.
About 6 to go. The line to make is the 19.
This is a big play for Vandebilt.
Might have been a design run all the way that time, and it's stopped short of the first down, and it looked Sharp got up gimpy on the play. Faked the little pass in the flat one way, then the other way, and then put it down and ran. You see that sometimes with a middle screen, but this was, I guess, a middle quarterback keeper.
Yeah, it was quarterback draws, quarterback run all the way. He pumps one way, pumps the other, and then he takes off. Credit Sean Diebold right there, staying home and dragging down Sharp right there and forcing the field goal. Again, another win for the Vandebilt defense right there. I said it was a big play simply from the standpoint in a 6-6 ball game. Every time they move those sticks, it could be
now this is Estrada kicking, who's the kickoff guy and the punter. Obviously a little bit better leg to try one from 40. Puts one on the way, and it is no good, wide right.
Had the leg, but it was just wide right. He was their distance kicker. Everything was good with the exchange from the battery. Snap, hold, and kick off on time. It was just pushed wide right. Great protection right there by the Covington front 7, and their wings just pushed off to the right. Another win for the Vandebilt defense.
Buckle up and get the stop. After one play, they were inside the 30-yard line, and they stopped them, forced the field goal try, which comes up empty, and we're still a 6-6 football game with 7:25 to play. Give it away on first down, and I think we're going to see a steady diet of Roundtree here in the fourth quarter.
That was their counterplay, Vandebilt Catholic's counterplay right there with the kick and the seal, gap down blocking, nice hole inside, got movement, and actually has set up a really nice second down for the Vandebilt offense, which gives them some options here.
2nd and 5 from the 25-yard line. Once again, it's Roundtree. Makes a man miss, got room to run. Midfield, 40, 30, 20, brought down from behind, a touchdown-saving tackle. That was Avery Verrett, the cornerback, who ran down Roundtree from behind, but not before a gain of 57 yards, Wade.
Buck sweep, get a kick out, get a seal. He hits the crease and then gets vertical right there. Everybody from Covington over pursues, and he's off to the races. First big play, splash play we've seen out of Vandebilt tonight on offense in their running game.
57 on the play. Give it to the man again, Roundtree, down near the 10-yard line.
This is where they've got to work a little bit of the clock now, talking about Vandebilt from the standpoint of running some of that clock, not being in a hurry, and not creating and putting a lot of time where Covington could possibly have a chance to come back and score. Even though it is at 6, some people call it 4-minute offense. Work your clock right here as an offensive unit.
Now they'll give him a break, and they give it to Gode, who's down near the goal line, 1st and goal.
Kind of looks to me, Lenny, I don't know if it looks like it to you, right now Vandebilt has caught a second wind and definitely is kind of controlling things up front on the line of scrimmage.
Call it the 3-yard line, and I think they've gotten that from Roundtree. There was a guy who was not in the game, and all of a sudden you got a fresh set of legs. Now they'll go back to this jumbo package where they operate with Porsche, looking to get in off the left side and in for the touchdown. Hunter Porsche has really been contained in the passing game this evening. Hadn't gotten a lot of opportunities there, but he's got 2 touchdown runs, and Vandebilt leads this one for the first time tonight with 5:45 to play.
All right, here you go. Do you kick the 1 or you go for 2?
You got to kick the 1 right here in a 6-point game. 12-6 now.
Okay, here we go. It was a great call right there. They had their jumbo package in, downhill run, sets up and gives Vandebilt their second touchdown on the night.
Kick is good by Purvis. A 5-play, 80-yard drive, and it was all on the ground that time. And Purvis tonight, that's the only 2 carries he's got, by the way. Or not Purvis, I'm sorry. Not Purvis, that's Hunter Porsche. With just 2 carries tonight. Or 3 carries, I should say. 3 carries, and 2 of them are for touchdowns.
Right.
He's only got 2 yards rushing.
But what's nice is he comes in with 6 touchdowns on the evening, and he can add 2 more to that total.
Add 2 to the collection. Actually 9, because he's got 6 through the air, 3 on the ground. So this give him 11 now on the year. They find a way to get the ball in his hands when it matters. And this is a Vandebilt team. Remember, they've rushed for 215 yards a game.
Right.
You know, 5 of their 6 games this year, they've had over 200 yards rushing. And for the most part, until this drive, Covington has contained their running game.
Okay, now Covington's got to answer here in 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. They've got to get the ball into their athletes' hands. Think athletes here.
And
oh, my goodness.
Falling down, trying to field that one is Chapman, and Covington is going to have a long way to go here. They will start at the 6-yard line.
Oh, my. You know, that's one of the things about natural grass. Sometimes your cleats will come out from under you. He catches the ball on the kickoff, getting ready to roll, and it looks like he just slips down right there on accident. You know, in high school, you can't go over and have your cleats changed by a manager real quick, right?
No.
It just doesn't work that way.
So the Covington offense, with 5:43 to play, is having to play from behind for the first time tonight, and they are 94 yards away from a tying touchdown.
Got to use those athletes. He has them all over the field on offense. He's just got to settle down, the offensive coordinator that is from Covington, and get the ball into the hands of the guys that can make it happen for him.
Play action on first down. They'll set up a little screen to the fullback, who makes a couple of men miss, stays on his feet, and he will get out past the marker. It's going to be a first down.
Set up very nice. He kind of slips underneath off the fake of the protection. Watch him slip screen right there, step underneath, and get out behind a big offensive lineman. A couple missed tackles right there by guys in blue. They got to make those tackles and can't let it just get out of the hole like that. You've got to make sure that you bring the guy to the ground.
Gain of 13, so out of the shadows of your goalpost now at the 19-yard line. Trying to run that quarterback run again. It looked like he stayed on his feet. He broke a couple of tackles and made something out of nothing right there. That could have been about a 3-yard loss, and it ends up being a gain of about 1.5 yards.
You know, credit the quarterback Blake Sharp right there. He's a physical kid now. He's taking a couple hits tonight, but look, he just keeps going like the ever-ready bunny right there. They're jacking him up. He keeps his legs moving, and he picks up more yardage right there. So, like you said, it could have been something that was a disastrous play, ends up into positive for Covington's offense.
So it's second down. Call it 9 at the 20-yard line. Sharp. Looking, firing. And that was incomplete in the direction of Justin Chapman.
Well covered by Vandebilt right there. Chapman trying to run a curl route, and then as the quarterback starts moving and scrambling right there, he starts kind of opening up his curl route a little bit, and Sharp kind of throws into double coverage right there, and the ball actually was close to being picked off.
Big play in this football game. Third down. Line to make is about the 28.5-yard line.
Huge play for both teams.
Sharp moving the pocket, looking to stay alive, flings it, incomplete. But hold everything. Let's see what the flag is about back at the 15-yard line. Looks like it's in the territory of holding, but let's wait and see. And indeed it is. You figure this is declined. You send your punting unit on.
Watch Sharp escape out of here. You can look at the left tackle. There goes the hold right there. It looked like a wrestling move for a 2-point takedown, but Sharp makes that play kind of stay alive by trying to keep it alive. He's holding on the ball a little bit longer because he knows he's got to get his sticks, and he understands how important that particular play was that they get a first down on.
Punt is taken in, and as good as Rogers has been in the punt return game tonight, that got a little dangerous right there, because the one thing that can get Covington back in this game right now is a turnover.
Now,
And
does that answer your question why only certain people can handle punts?
That's tough to be able to field that
Right.
and take that hit right there. There's no question about it.
You hear that coming downfield as you're looking up at the sky at that ball coming down. It takes a certain type of person to be able to return punts, and that's Landon Rogers. All right, that guy does a great job, and he took it in the teeth.
4.5 minutes to play. This has got 4-minute offense written all over it right now. And look at the run and the effort by Bryden Roundtree to get it out to the 46-yard line.
Vandebilt's offense has taken over the offensive line of scrimmage and defensive line of scrimmage. These cats are coming off the ball, doing a great job getting movement on those guys in white.
Roundtree now with 92 yards rushing. He had just 15 in the first half. Didn't see him in the third quarter. He's got 77 yards in the fourth quarter, including that big 57-yard run that set up the go-ahead touchdown. Once again, Roundtree makes a man miss. First down, Vandebilt.
Coming back to the big play that they ran back last series that set up their go-ahead score. They're running the buck sweep to their left, and Roundtree does a nice job hitting that crease and getting huge yardage in this 4-minute offense for Vandebilt. Right now they're trying to milk everything they can out of that 40-second clock, which is going to milk down that game clock right there.
Play clock is going to tick under 10.
Lenny, Covington's got to start thinking about using some of their timeouts to stop this clock.
No doubt is closing in on the 3-minute mark. Oh, what a hit in the backfield as Gode carried the football, and he was met very quickly there. And that was number 9, the linebacker, Cade Rogers, the senior, leads this team with 66 tackles.
Yeah.
And
look,
you heard that one up here.
Hello. Yeah, that was pretty. I like that. That's a nice physical tackle. That's the way you play football on defense right there. You stick that shoulder pad in there, you wrap up, you run your feet, and you bring that running back down. Great tackle right there by Rogers.
So it's 2nd down and 12, officially at the 50-yard line. Quarterback's going to keep it. Had all the flow going the other way, but it just took one person staying at home. And that looked like Landon Bork on the tackle right there, 36. And it's a gain of 2, and I believe Covington just used a timeout with 2:30 to play. That was LePere on the carry that time. They lined him up as the quarterback there.
And that was design quarterback run. Fake one way, go the other way. There wasn't much to that. They zone blocked up front. Cade LePere took the ball, found a crease, and picked up some yardage, which forced Covington into a smart timeout right there. They needed to stop that clock.
Yep, they'll stop it with 2.5 minutes to play, and Vandebilt will come out on a 3rd and 10 from the Covington 48-yard line. This was a 6-0 Covington game at halftime. Vandebilt has used 2 big plays to set up their 2 touchdowns. A punt return by Rogers to the 1-yard line, set up the first score, and then on the last series it was a 57-yard run by Roundtree that put him down in the red zone, and 3 plays later, Hunter Porsche scoring out of the Wildcat look as he did for the first touchdown. Porsche has both touchdown runs tonight. And this will again be LePere on a design quarterback run, gets it out to the 45, uses a little bit of clock in the process. Covington's going to call a timeout with 2:23 remaining after that 3-yard run by LePere.
LePere keeps the ball on the design quarterback run again, quarterback sweep. The only thing I didn't like right there, look at how he's holding the ball. Just kind of hanging that thing out there a little bit.
The proverbial loaf of bread?
Yeah, hanging it out there a little bit. You know, that would have to be addressed in a meeting. You know, and you got to understand the situation.
Like we said about the punt earlier. The one thing right now that can really get you beat is a turnover.
No doubt.
And it's, setting up Covington with a short field. Right now, you ran 3 plays, you used some clock, you make Covington use timeouts. Now you're going to punt the football away, and Covington with just 1 timeout remaining. Let's see how this punt fares out, but they're still going to potentially, have to go quite a distance to tie this football game.
Covington punt returner must catch this punt.
See what happens. This is a line drive. And this will check up, and it will roll dead at about the 10-yard line. So Covington will start with 2:13 to play, 90 yards away from a tying touchdown.
Well, like we said, we've had a lot of drama here tonight, and the next 2 minutes, 13 seconds is going to be accumulation of that drama. So this is going to be really, really fun to watch these last couple of minutes.
So before we get to the dramatic finish potentially here, remind you, tomorrow night right here in Crescent City Sports, 6:45 airtime, 7 o'clock kick. Always a great one in the Catholic League. John Curtis and Rummel. It's decided the district champion each of the last 5 years. And then next Friday night here in Crescent City Sports and on Cox Sports Television, you and Ken Berthelot have the call. It's John Curtis and Brother Martin. And whistles before this one can get started. And it looks like a false start.
And it looks like false start on the line.
Again, there's shooting yourself in the foot. And now you're staring at first and 15.
First and 15, the ball at the 5-yard line now. So now 90 yards to go, just turned into 95.
You know, I go back to what Greg Salter was telling us as we were talking to him on the field prior to the game. I think his quote was, "We're going to find. We have always this year found a way to shoot ourselves in the foot."
But they've also had a chance to go down and score the tying touchdown. That is caught. And room to run for the wide receiver, Dickenji James, whose name we have called a lot tonight. And I think it's going to come up just short of the first down. Let's wait for the spot. It looks like about a yard short, maybe less than that, in fact. And it's going to be 2nd down and 1.
It's a good way to get yourself out of a hole, get yourself the ball to the guys that can do something with it once they catch it. And that is Mr. James. He's done that all night tonight. He's had a nice game.
9th catch of the night for James. Give it away on 2nd and 1 and nothing doing. What pursuit in the backfield that time by Sean Diebold.
Sean Diebold has shut down the outside zone. They made an adjustment at halftime and gone to an 8-man front, and they told Sean Diebold they are not going to run zone stretch to your side tonight. You set that edge, and he's come out the second half and done that. He has shut down that particular play.
3rd and 5. That was a jump ball. Incomplete, and I believe a flag came in. This could be defensive pass interference.
Well, here's our call. Let's see. There you go. Pass interference over there.
Pass interference on the carry, and that'll give the yard.
So that'll be a first down.
Right, not automatically, but by yardage.
Right, it's 15 yards.
See if we can see it on our replay here. It was almost a 50-50 jump ball over there, and he got there maybe a tad bit early. Really can't tell. It's one of those things that you kind of turn your palms up and kind of guess to see if it was interference.
Taking a shot down the field. That ball is incomplete, and another flag comes in once again in the direction of DeCarius Peterson. The big senior, 6'4", 220 pounds.
They're going to call this on Rotolo again.
And they waved it off.
Well, they picked it up. There you go. I thought it was a pretty good play looking at back on the replay there. I thought Rotolo did a nice job getting his hand inside what they call the V and raking that ball out. You're coached well to do that. You're taught as a DB that when that V comes together from the receiver on the ball, you make sure you reach inside that V and start raking for the ball to knock it out. It looked like he did things technically correct there.
Trips to the bottom of your screen. That ball is going to be caught, and once again it's James. Just a fade pattern. He was lined up farthest outside in the trips formation. Brings it in for a gain of 25.
Defending that was Landon Rogers. A little bit soft on that coverage. Was giving a lot of room. He needed to drive that ball a lot sooner and try to get up and make some sort of contest out of the fade route that was thrown by Sharp.
10th catch tonight for James. He is just a sophomore. Pass is incomplete. It was intended for Laurent.
They ran Laurent down the seam right there, and Vandebilt Catholic was in a too-high coverage. They were covering Laurent with the safety right there. The ball looked like it was a little bit underthrown. Laurent's actually open in that seam, and the ball just didn't get there. That could have been a huge pickup for Covington.
1:18 to play. And getting back to the point of what Greg Salter talked about. So, yeah, shooting yourself in the foot, but they've gotten inside the 30-yard line with a chance to score the tying or go-ahead touchdown. And hold on before this one can get underway. It's a false start, as it looked like Peterson jumped the snap by a split second. Moving behind the chains, it's 2nd and 15.
A lot of room out there on those wide receivers by those corners. They're almost 12 to 14 yards off. Real soft on those corners. So look for Covington to get the ball out there into those receivers' hands and let them try to do something with it. Now they've tightened up a little bit. They're inside 10.
From midfield, pass caught and well defended. That was Diebold out in coverage that time on Laurent.
Diebold has had a hell of a second half. All right, he has been all over the field. He's done a nice job stopping their zone, outside zone stretch, and he did a nice job there, dropping into coverage from his outside linebacker position and rallying to make a big play for no gain on the receiver.
Well, that was because he went out and covered Laurent,
right?
Who was the the running back lined up wide there, because they went with an empty backfield.
So that's going to take Diebold out of his online alignment, and it's going to put him into coverage, and he did a great job getting there and rallying to making the play. He has had one great second half of football. Another one of those big plays here, Lenny.
Line to make is the 35-yard line as Covington used their final timeout here with 1:05 to play. 3-by-2 formation. Sharp down the seam, 2 receivers there, batted up and intercepted. Evan Frank again. And he's going to go all the way, perhaps 30, 20, cuts it back the other way, 10, 5, touchdown Vandebilt Catholic.
The old tip drill right there, throwing into coverage, the ball is tipped up right there, and again for his second one tonight, Evan Frank comes down with the big play. This is going to be something that he's going to want to remember for the rest of his life, that particular play, which is going to seal the deal for the Terriers.
70 yards on the interception return by Evan Frank for the touchdown.
You know, that is practice. Tip drills are practice. They're just not something that randomly comes to you in your sleep, right? Defensive backs get out there and people are tipping the ball up, and you practice driving on the ball when it's tipped in the air, and that's exactly what Evan Frank did right there.
Purvis to make this a 14-point game, and his kick is good. 46 seconds to play in this one.
Well, we've seen a huge turnaround by that Vandebilt defense and in this second half. But, you know, let's also credit a huge turnaround by the Vandebilt offensive line, who has found a running game in the second half to help put 14 of those points on the board.
No question about it. All-around effort.
Personal foul after the kickoff.
Vandebilt getting called for a personal foul, and they'll enforce it on the kickoff.
I didn't see exactly what happened or where it was on that PAT. Probably a few extracurricular activities going on in there. A little shove here, a little shove there. Usually they end up getting the second person all the time, and it was probably somebody in a blue jersey that was shoving back or retaliating to some sort of shove, and that's where it's going to get called.
Actually, no, they said they were enforcing it on the kickoff. It's actually on Covington, a personal foul.
So there you go.
So now the kickoff's going to come from the Covington side of the 50 at the 45-yard line.
That's correct. So again, it could have been a young man from Covington that was retaliating against a push or a shove, or just some sort of push and shove inside after the PAT. We'll never know. Boys will be boys. So what do you do with this? Do you just sail it through the uprights, sail it through the end zone, or do you sky it? What do you do?
I think you take the return out of play, whatever it is.
Exactly. You kick it into the end zone.
You reach the end zone, reach the end zone. If not, even kick it out of bounds is not the worst thing in the world right now. And this is going to be fielded at the goal line, but they're going to say it was into the end zone touchback.
Right, so you're absolutely correct, Lindy. You take the return game out, make sure you put it where they can't get it, and you put it into the end zone and make it come out to the 20 and make them go 80 yards.
We have offside on the kickoff, offside on Vandebilt. They killed it. That's why we didn't know.
So here you go again.
Yeah, we'll try it again. This would back them up from 5. Now they'll kick it from the 50-yard line. And remember, all of those, that is a dead ball foul in high school football, offsides on the kickoff. Kick it again. This one will easily, that'll go out of the back of the end zone, touchback. So still Covington starts it at the 20-yard line with 46 seconds to play. So Vandebilt 46 seconds away from going to 6-1 on the year. They'll wrap up next week at Morgan City with a chance to at least win a share of a district championship. Covington next week has to go to Mandeville, a team we saw last week, and
Mr. Tot.
Yes, they've got to contend.
And Ibieta.
With Tot, Ibieta, and company. That is a very talented offense. Covington's done a nice job for the most part defensively this evening. I mean, keep in mind, you had one big play for 57 yards, and you throw that out, and there hasn't been a lot going on defensively. They got, obviously a return for an interception return for a touchdown and a punt return to the 1-yard line that set up a touchdown.
Well,
so
in 1 week, they're going to have to address the situations of the illegal procedure penalties, holding penalties, and things that have just actually put them in, I would say, detrimental positions for taking points off the board. Think about it, So instead of settling for touchdowns, you're settling for 3 points.
As this pass is caught, we have called the name of Dickenji James so many times tonight. 14 on that one, and I checked that 13 yards and a first down at the 33-yard line. James has 11 catches for 127 yards tonight. Sharp trying to keep it alive. Now throws it out in a flat. Caught. Gain of about 5. As that was Laurent on the catch.
As the clock winds down, there was a lot of drama here tonight. I think you saw kind of a tale of 2 halves out of Vandebilt Catholic.
So from the 38, Sharp keeping it alive with his feet, throwing. It is caught. That is Peterson on the catch, and that will do it.
Well, like I said, a tale of 2 halves for Vandebilt Catholic, coming away with their 6th win tonight. And you saw in the first half they couldn't find anything to do offensively, and they come out the second half and they get things going. With Covington again, it's the tale of shooting themselves in the foot in situations where they're walk away with 3 points rather than touchdowns, which could have definitely been the difference in this football game all the way back in the first quarter.
Well, Covington is going to be right on the bubble and likely will need a win next week over Mandeville if they're going to make the playoffs. Of course, we don't know what the playoffs are going to look like at this point. Again, 48 teams did not play this week because of COVID-19. Well, so who knows, including both of these teams' scheduled opponents, which is how we ended up with this game. Vandebilt probably went a long way to help their cause in trying to make sure they get a home game here in the first round of the Division II playoffs. Coming, I guess that's 3 weeks from tonight. So it's, both of these teams had a lot to play for coming in, even in the circumstance. And credit to Vandebilt for stepping up, especially in the fourth quarter, making the plays on offense, on defense, on special teams even. Absolutely. To win this football game.
Special teams, I didn't say. I mean, the punt return, phenomenal. The way it was set up, the way it was executed. Big play in this football game that helped also swing the tide of the momentum for the Terriers.
No doubt about it. Wade, it's been a lot of fun. Preparing on these coaches had to prepare on barely 24 hours notice from an opponent. So did we. This turned out to be a lot of fun this evening.
It's raw football. Simply from the standpoint, how good are you making in-game adjustments and halftime adjustments, right? And I think we saw that out of Vandebilt tonight. They made some great in-game adjustments and some great halftime adjustments to counter what Covington was doing. And this was absolutely a fun football game to do.
Well, thank you, Wade. Thank you, Chip Merritt, our producer. Matt Merritt bringing you the pictures this evening. Once again, your final score tonight from Homa. Vandebilt Catholic defeats Covington by the score of 20-6. Again, tomorrow night, 6:45 airtime, 7 o'clock kick. It's John Curtis in Rummel and a big one in the Catholic League. It always is. And 1 week from tonight, from Strawberry Stadium, it'll be Wade and Ken Berthelot on a call. I'll be down in the truck. It's on CrescentCitySports.com as well as Cox Sports Television, in which should be a great one between John Curtis and Brother Martin. Until tomorrow, so long, everybody.